NORD versus Venomcrest. I have the pleasure to talk with Lofty and Treats. Welcome to this one. It's going to be a chill conversation to talk a little bit about it. Treats, massive pleasure. Lofty as well. I want to hear from Lofty. How you feeling? This is a massive one to start off the day. Expectations, come on.
I mean, I feel good. It's gonna be a fun one for sure. I think it's always like playing against these names. I remember we played against Roddy like last game, right? And you're loading in and you're like, oh, there's Leader and Perks and Yankos. And now it's like, okay, so we have Treats and Centaurin, who I used to watch on TSM. Like, it's like playing against the Leaguepedia page, you know?
It's heavy,
It's
isn't
fun.
it?
It'll be fun. Like, I think it's more fun than anything. I don't think it gets like, I don't go into the game like, oh my god, they're so good at the game. It's more like, wow, these are actually like
This is good. This is
players,
good.
you know?
Yeah. Treats, what about you? Because like massive experience, then you took a little pause as trying to teach people how to play actually, and then you're back to show them like if they can't understand the way you teach, you better show everybody. How is it to come back into this roster as well?
I mean, it's really fun. The NORD roster is something that, like, in the offseason, when I heard about it, that it was a possibility, I was really hyped, obviously. I know a lot of the players from before. I haven't played with them, only Xmati before. But yeah, it's really fun to kind of get together in this type of roster and especially compete against other big teams as well in the NLC. So it's been a lot of fun. And then now, obviously, playoff begins and we have to take down Venomcrest first.
Okay. We started with hostilities. I love it. One more question for you, Treats, as well. You look into this roster, and I like the way NORD are presenting themselves, like the gentlemen of the league. You have Ruddy being crazy and all that. Los Ratones with all those viewers, but NORD is looking as the gentleman. How would you describe scrims within NORD? Because you started a little later than Los Ratones, and there's a lot of experience, a lot of voices. Is it chaotic or is it exquisite?
I mean, I would say somewhere in the middle. I think right now we're on kind of like a little downswing because we're testing a lot of things. But in general, I think scrims have been going well. I think the biggest challenge for me is actually like scrimming online. It's not something that any of our players are used to because we've obviously played in person a lot. So I think that's honestly the biggest problem when like maybe I have a point and then someone else has a point and then there's Discord delay and you're like trying to talk to each other and just like ends up in a little bit more of a frustrating position, so to say. But it's been a lot of fun, and obviously streaming the scrims too have been really fun. So yeah, in general, it's been a very good run so far.
I don't know if you understand Los Ratones and all that, but you're changing the way esports work. It's not even league anymore. You're changing esports ecosystem by, hey, if you want to study us, we're an open book. We're just getting better by doing this. So step up your game. Talking about stepping up your game, Lofty. 2-2 on groups, and last time you almost took down Ruddy. The way you presented yourselves, it was so close. But then Bulldog came in, and you know, I want to know a little bit more, Lofty, because NORD is stepping up. Venomcrest, they're being looked as the rookies. Come on, punch back, punch back.
I mean, I don't know, like, I think it would be weird to not look at us as rookies, right? Like, you're looking at the team and you have like Kiki and me and Lawrence and Maki and like Elijah. And Elijah's the only guy who played Div 1, I think. I don't remember if Maki's played anywhere, right? And Elijah was like rookie last split, right? But it's so weird nowadays.
Yes.
I feel like, especially with like ERL system, like I played Prime League Div 2 with Lawrence a while ago. And so we played, and for me, when we're playing from home, like Treat says, it's like there's not really much difference except for how good people are, right? So like the rookie thing feels weird because it's like, well, I've played for a long time. I've always been playing this video game, you know. And yeah, it just feels more like we have to play good. We're not really thinking about like all this veteran stuff. Obviously, it's different when you're playing against someone who's played like at World's Finals, you know, like maybe like this. But I think we don't really think about it too much.
I don't want to make this easy as well, so you can rest up and get ready for the game. Treats. If you look into playoffs and if you look into all teams, there's a big chance you win. There's a big chance you don't. You know, it's potato potato. We don't know. If you win, can you present NLC with something like anything? Can you present us with like a surprise, Treats, if you win? Because I have something for Lofty, so I need something for you, Treats.
Oh, that's a good one. I don't know what Lofty promised you. I don't know what I can promise either. I mean, from us, at least in NORD, I think I think as a project, we're kind of in between Los Ratones and Ruddy, I would say. I think we're kind of like a bit sneaky tryhard, if that makes sense. I think Los Ratones are a bit like funny tryhard, and we're a bit sneaky tryhard. So I think, I mean, obviously we're looking towards playoffs and winning, but I'll have to think about that for you and come up with something good.
Okay, let's put it on hold. Lofty,
Yeah.
you told me before this, okay? You're the singer.
I have a
If you win
microphone.
NLC, you'll do an acoustic version of any Riot music. Can you do it?
Sure.
I'll play the
I don't
guitar
know.
if you need. I don't care. I'll follow.
I mean, I don't mind. It'd be funny.
I'll be your backup
think-
singer.
Holy
Hey!
shit! I get my treats. I don't get to swear. My bad.
Man, I'm ready for this. Let's get
Holy shit. Okay, I'm not
get it
that
going.
ready. I'm not that ready.
Let's get it going.
No,
But I
best
don't
of
know.
luck for both of you. Always a pleasure
Thank
to
you.
talk with you guys, and we'll see you on the Rift.
See you on the Rift, Lofty.
Oh,
So chill.
that was wholesome.
That was really wholesome. This is what it's about. Jamad, you look like, you know, reserved.
You look like
Reserved.
Yamada. Yeah.
Yeah, reserved.
My bad. VMix muted. Apologies. Live
Really
didn't hear me.
reserved.
So reserved I didn't even have my mic on. It's just nice to see the players actually interact with each other in this setting. We've
Yeah.
been trying to get this going for a little while, so having it work out for one, awesome, and then two, yeah, they're just two wholesome, chill guys, man.
Yeah,
There's not much else to say. It's always nice, kind of getting a little bit more of a a human feel out of players. I think sometimes, especially high end, it's very easy to kind of forget that at the end of the day the players are just people, right? Everything is so focused on the competition, so to kind of draw that out. Good job, Archer. That was fantastic. And hopefully we see, weirdly enough, kind of the inverse, a little bit less human gameplay, some robotic stuff going on the Rift. And I think for Venomcrest, they're gonna have to find some steel here, because NORD, I think probably second to Los Ratones, showed us on average probably the second best kind of level of floor of gameplay throughout seeding stage. So my expectation now, especially with seeing how the group B teams have kind of panned out,
Yeah, look at it.
is that for NORD they're going to be one of our new favorites. I think people kind of bought into the hype of the Rich Gang and Ruddy Sack a little bit, and I think that's totally fair and warranted. But NORD, in the words of Treats, they're sneaky tryhard, and I think they've kind of fallen under the radar a little bit of some of our community, and maybe amongst some of us too.
And it's interesting. There's a lot of things about NORD that I keep seeing. There's always a small hint as we move forward. The sneaky tryharding, as you stated, when we talked with the coach when they were doing their boot camp, the way they presented, hey, we started scrims later than everyone else, so we're still trying to get used to. Then with another interview with the top lane, they stated, there's a lot of experience and a lot of voices. We need to tone down a few of them to make sure only one voice is heard as we move along. All these things, as it moves forward, NORD is turning out to be a big one. And there's so much attention on other teams that NORD is sneaky, tryharding, but NORD will sneakily going through playoffs. So Venomcrest, oh, that's a tough one. They have to bite right now. Look into this roster. Oh boy.
It's a stacked roster, right? I think the biggest names you obviously look at is probably the top side, right? Centaurin, Visachachi, LCS winner in Centaurin. Visachachi's been to Worlds as well. But don't sleep on Xmadi and Treats, right? They've been in the LEC before and performing. And Norway, massive German streamer, of course. So I think NORD have a strong roster. I think they have a sensible lookout to how they improve. I think watched quite a bit of Coach John actually on his Twitch there and following along with how they improve. I think it's a very good structure and approach to how he does his coaching. From someone who's just studied a bit behind the scene from that, right, in my own university. So I think they have a great approach. I think they are my second favorite, and if there's one team that can challenge Los Ratones, it is NORD. But so far, especially after the game they played, they fell into the Baus Global Taunt trap, and I was disappointed seeing them fall for that one.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, I'm very on board with that last point there. Of all the teams, there's so many, historically, all of these players, when we see them, when we've seen them at their peaks, they've all been very, very rational and very, level-headed speakers, and you'd normally expect that to transition to games, but it seemed like that Lost Returners game, they bought in to the global tour a bit too much. And yeah, I think now that we move over to best ofs, it brings a level of likely consistency that you don't always get to see in the best of ones, because they're best of ones, right? It's easy to have a fluke game and then there's no redoing it at the end of the day. Series, yes, you can have a whole bad day, but at the end of the day, you still have multiple opportunities inside of that series to correct issues game by game. NORD are the kind of team I'd expect to make those kind of adjustments. And I think, again, just to rehash that kind of narrative point, I think it's strange that narratively it feels like inside the community, NORD are like not as highly rated per se, unless you are like strictly a NORD fan or one of the players' fans. That, yeah, they almost feel like a narrative dark horse, but in reality, on paper, they are kind of just the second favorites to someone. So like, worst case, if you're rating Ruddy highly before, you know, the NORD are in third. So we'll see how they pan out here against Venomcrest. Again, Venomcrest, a lot of pressure on their shoulders, given what's happened to all of
But they do this all the time.
comrades.
They do this all the time. They join in and they're like, "Oh, this is just a team we found. We believe in them. We believe in them." And then boom, out of the sudden finals. Wait, what? What happened with Venomcrest? How did they get here? Well, so far we got Galio, Jason, Cassandra removed, Scarlet, and the Rumble on the other side. Will Wukong go through? Victor, Callista, all of those picks. Well, only Victor is allowed to be removed. Corki so far was banned throughout the day. What do you give priority? There's a lot of AD carries, you can only pick one. It's Fearless, you pick it, it's out.
Yeah, that's a good question. I would probably prefer the Corgi here myself, and they do end up going for that. I think the Callista has its place, but you can't, I really like it with Renata mainly, and you wouldn't have been able to guarantee that. Now you're only first picking, obviously Venomcrest could look for that themselves. Laurie, though, someone who seems to be very happy to play these engaged supports. He has had a few Hilly-Sang-like games where he's a bit too overeager to go forward, and I don't think that would be well suited for the Renata. I do like the idea of the Ezreal, though, for Maoki, and then, you know, could pair him up with the Braum, but I don't think they want to show support this early on.
Yeah, I was a very big fan of when Kiki was
Finally.
on.
Okay, Kiki.
I hope this isn't support, is what I'm
It
going to
is.
say.
It is,
before we get
Jamada.
too
I'm
excited.
sorry.
My issue is it likely will be support. And look, I'm just gonna say I hope that second day was a bad day for Laurie, and it wasn't the standard he's looking to set for the rest of the split. This Elise pick falls off a cliff, like very, 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 very hard. More so than the regular jungle Elise. So for Kiki, it's funny. I was gonna say I kind of preferred it when he was on the skirmisher / playmakers as opposed to the two Ivern games that he ended up playing on that second day of seeding. For me, it felt, I don't even know how to say it. It felt almost like he was band-aiding, like being on Ivern was kind of like a safety net for the rest of the team, as opposed to Kiki being put in a position where he could actually help facilitate the rest of his laners more proactively. Felt way too reactive. Now we've got the Rail coming in alongside the Vi, so there's, you know, clean, consistent engage coming through from NORD. They've got Corki to flex between No Way and Xmati. For Venomcrest, I think you have to probably give up this flex or you go mid lane, right? I think it's that or the other. Unless you've got a safe blind pick top here for Elijah, Poppy fits in that general, you know, kind of umbrella of it can go top, it can go support, it can go jungle, right? If it absolutely needs to. So it's still cards very tight to the chest here for Venomcrest. And they now know, realistically, they can ban away two top laners. It's probably the easiest thing to do from Vizicachi. And Poppy is also, you know, kind of a classic takeaway from the not top laner too.
Yeah. I really like that Poppy pick there against the movement. So what do you do now then? That's the main question. You'll be looking to ban out the top laners if you're Venomcrest, as Yamada said for NORD. They still have that No Way pick up their sleeve, and they also need something left for top lane. I mean, with the Cassandra banned as well, the options have been a bit limited. The Rumble too, so okay, I'm a bit stumped for what will be happening next in this draft.
You don't have a lot of information.
They've all gotten a good first rotation. I mean, I do agree with Yamada, right? If you put that Elise bot lane, it will fall off a cliff, and I think Laurie, I'll be interested to see if he can pilot it, but the support ban does open up for the possibility that Kiki will pilot it in the jungle, and I would love to see that. I'd love to see him give it a go at it, right? French rookies on Venomcrest normally tend to find success.
I think it's just coverage for the fact that they've got Rel, they've got Vi, and Rob's just an annoying champion to play against. It could end up being a wasted ban, but it's one of those things where you don't really want to have to deal with Braum in the case that they can put the Elise and Poppy in the other roles. So now I would expect at least one targeted ban towards Lofty. Right, the Oriana's out. I think he had a fantastic Hui game if they're looking at target bans. I don't think they need to ban out another support, frankly. Unless they're looking at something like Alistar at like the absolute most, Leona. So they're taking away more like non-conditional engage and peel. But to me, my radar's going off that I have a sad feeling that Laurie's going to be piloting this at least, because it's a bit of a flavor of the month pick. So I'm kind of worried that Venomcrest might have a little bit too much going on in the kitchen right now. We'll see though, because this 4th pick should give us enough information to maybe make some decisions.
Okay.
I guess Hui technically is the one that doesn't, because there's still a 3-way flex between Poppy and Elise. Called out the Hui, and I think it was probably Lofty's best performing champion in their first 2 weeks in that seeding stage. So surprised that NORD didn't pay it too much mind, but if they've got the this answer in the Xerath, that could just be why.
Yeah, that is a strong response. I maybe would have liked to see Lofty on his famous Talia. That is something he got really known for in Sweden against these mobility-heavy champions, but the way makes a lot of sense as well. Now it's really eyes on what Vizichachi will be piloting here in the first game of this best of 3. I think the Now would have the space, obviously a bit harder to execute in the team fights, playing around the Rage, but will be locked in. Yeah, I think that's a totally fine pick.
This is a top now. I feel like Elijah's gonna pick a top here, meaning that Poppy will go jungle and Lottie will take the Elise. It makes sense. When you look into the draft, you know this Poppy will bring so much. Unless you want to change it and somehow the Poppy goes support and Kiki can just pilot the Elise. So reveal my cards.
It's the Poppy support.
Hey!
It should be Poppy support because of the Rel matchup, I'm hoping. I'm surprised they don't go Renekton though, because now they've got triple AP topside and an Ezreal. You know, Merc Treads, MR is easy to fit into most builds. Like this feels like a bit of a horror from Venomcrest, if I'm gonna be completely honest. Yeah. And the composition is not super easy to play out. You've got this one big form of engage through the Ornn, and that's about it, right? Everything else is based off positioning and Laurie finding flanks. So, not Venomcrest, because I think NORD's composition scales, I think, almost unarguably better and has a much easier time to execute.
Exactly. Yeah, it's incredibly hard to execute, and while Venomcrest as an org are the defending champions, these guys are playing their first playoff game, really, every single one of them. So a lot of pressure here for the young rookies, as they also have to carry that burden of being the defending champions against such big names on NORD. This is a bold move in the draft, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm worried it won't pay off.
Well, it's time to jump into the second series of the day. This is the last series as well for the first round of playoffs on the upper bracket. Venomcrest, NORD, we've seen this battle before, but not with these names. So in order to engage on this one, let's toss it to a small break and then into the rift. Take it away.
Welcome back, one and all. Still Initialize, still joined by Foxdrop, and we've got ourselves our second series of the evening after a pretty impressive upset there between Verdant and Rich Gang. 2-0 for Verdant was not what we were expecting. This one, fingers crossed, should be a little bit more like it was on the books, or my predictions is going to be an absolute shocker today. Nords should be pretty heavily favoured here, but our drafts have come out and been a little unusual, I think it's fair to say.
Definitely. Should is a dangerous word here.
It is,
mate,
isn't it
just? In the
just?
NLC. Yeah, we saw a big upset between Verdant and Rich Gang, the undefeated Rich Gang, falling down in 2 games. Crazy stuff there. But I agree with you. Like, I feel like NORD are just a step above. Like, I think between NORD and Los Ratones, we have the 2 best teams in the NLC.
I agree.
And yeah, we've already seen Rich Gang fall. We saw Ruddy Sack fall. But it's going to be a big mountain to take it away from NORD. We've seen some very good stuff here. And a little bit of cooking in the draft from Venomcrest with that early Elise, as Yamada pointed out. I thought it was going to be support Elise. There's a bit more flavor than
I wondered, yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah, we've got it in the jungle for the first time in a long while. See how it works out.
On towards the Gustwalk, that's the name of that one. I had to remember the name of the jungle items. I actually did go and memorize all those, so I was just called them the blue one or the green one.
Yeah.
I'm special. I went and learned the item because I'm like that. It's a play-by-play thing. What can I say?
And then you
has
say
gone
it, and no
towards
one
that
knows who. Like, what's that? What's a Gustwalker? What's that?
Gustwalk, yeah.
What's a
Then you got
Scorch-
Scorch
what's
Claw's the
that?
red
What's a
one,
Scorch
and
Claw?
then Moss Stomper is the green one.
I prefer blue, red, and green. Just saying, but it's fine.
Charizard, Pikachu, and
That-
Bulbasaur. There you go. All
Pikachu,
your
what are you
various
talking
red.
about, bro? That's yellow. God, get this man. Honestly, get this man some education. Squirtle's who you're thinking of.
Oh, Squirrel! What did I say?
Yeah, Pikachu. Yeah.
Did I say
honestly,
Pikachu? What am I doing?
You've lost a few credits.
I was very wrong. No, that's very.
Yeah.
I've lost my Pokemon card. Oh dear.
Yeah, that you have, mate.
Yeah,
That
I
you have.
apologize. You know,
Sit there and
I
think
don't
about
think
what you've done.
I'm genuinely
Initialized.
upset with myself.
Yes.
I thought better of myself.
So did everyone else.
Shocked
and you
Pikachu
disappointed
face
us
from
all.
me. That was, you know, that was. I shouldn't have said that on there. You know, that's
It's alright.
that's a sacrilege, isn't it?
You can drop an F-bomb, but not one of those. That's a fine.
That's it. That's me never coming back. I was going to talk about the fact that we've got a bit of an unusual mid lane matchup for pro play, but not an unusual one necessarily for No Way, who is known for playing a little bit of things like this. I
dabbles.
think he's 6-6 all time. He dabbles in this one, but Laurie with the level 2 roam might have been able to find an angle on it. And then we know Poppies can be a little bit devious when it comes to playing around the map early. Not necessarily the at least, but certainly can do some pretty dangerous thing from that support position as well as Elijah goes chewing onto Vizichachi, who does end up chunking a bit of his health bar there in the early late stages of the lane.
Yeah, 2 turret shots for Vizichachi on the turret there. That's a big
Yeah.
no bueno. He had Elijah where he wanted him and completely miscalculated that one, so that'll be his teleport being blown early. Certainly something to look at, although the Poppy in trouble.
Treats when looking on forward, gets a big ignite, and Laurie forced to flash. Does not have the Hex Flash, interestingly, and the additional summoner being down will be problematic. Doesn't get to reset. That's the price of the roam. Wasn't there to level up in time, and now Maoki getting chunked out by Matty, who just puts the Gatling gun down. Flash for the Shattering Strike and the Crash down! Will secure first blood breaks Matty, but now Kiki is here, can repel up. Now Valkyrieing away, trying to buy some space. Cocoon is just sidestepped from. Did not actually need to cleanse there, Matty. You've done all the hard work. We'll burn a summoner for free, just for the style points. Making a statement.
Didn't have faith in his own sidestepping ability. Santorian will be able to walk away from this one. 1 for 1 at the end of it right here. Laurie just steps a little bit too far forward considering Maoki's not in the area. Crucially though, Treats hits level 3 right as he engages. Like literally jumps in at 2, comes out at 3. And so now we have the level advantage, right? It's a big deal at these early levels. And Venomcrest are buying time because Kiki's coming in, right? You can see it at the top side in the river there. But they're just a little bit too fast, is Nord able to get away that kill. And importantly, crucially there, it's a kill for Xmati, a return for a kill onto Laurie the support. All good stuff here for Nord.
Yeah, again, it's also worth noting that Laurie, caught at level 2, doesn't have the steadfast presence yet, so had no way to interrupt the engage from the Rel. Good timing there from Treats, and we heard it from Lofty in that little interview with Arch before, which was great, by the way. I'm looking forward to the cover song, whatever it may be, with some great backing vocals from various members of the 2 squads here. But one of the things said is like, look, it's like playing against a Leaguepedia page, and you look down the competitive history of the entirety of Nord, and at nearly every level of play, you've got serious experience here from Nord.
Absolutely, you got it in buckets, mate. This is it, like... I mean, I don't even need to go down the lineup. You can see it there. There is when No Way, who's been on NNO and doing his stuff in the Prime League for as long as he has, and he masters, is like
He's
the least
he's the least on
one.
it, which is mad.
Yeah, like that's something. That is something. And Laurie's getting a little bit feisty
Cheeky,
here,
yeah.
yeah, with the knockback. But really, to keep your eyes on Laurie, like I like the adaptation to put Poppy in bot because that steadfast presence does really ruin Rel and Corki. But the real power of Poppy in the lane phase, at least, is her ability to roam around. So I wouldn't be too surprised. You see her rush those Swifties, Dead Man's play as well, and to see what she can do. Specifically, I'd be looking at mid lane because Xerath does have a lot of range, but doesn't have any gap closers, any escapes, any speed ups, could be vulnerable to those roams.
And I think Kiki on the other side, now playing the Elise, it's a champion that really wants to make things happen early. You are so good at those early dives at level 3, but you don't farm that well. You don't scale that well in the sense that your target access gets riskier and riskier as the game goes on, even if you can get onto a key target. It's going to be forced off the grubs here as Treats comes roaming. Lori is around, but with Visachachi at the Mega Gnar, it would have been tricky to really force that fight, so it'll be 2-to-1 trade in terms of those grubs, and they'll back away with no one else losing their lives or too much of a HP bar anywhere on screen.
Yeah, unfortunate result there for Venomcrest, seeing as they initiated a lane swap, which would have put, or which did put numbers advantage in their favor for the Grubs top side, but they actually only managed to pick up one of those. So again, NORD would be very happy with this. Some small but significant advantages for NORD early on here in this game.
Worth noting as well there that No Way was very much winning the poke trade in mid lane, as up 10 CS or so will force the early reset without Lofty having the teleport. No Way gets that better back. Lost chapter secured by the Hui nonetheless will mean at least at this point can stay in lane that little bit longer, assuming some of those skill shots don't land, and No Way has been hitting them pretty well so far, especially on a champion that he's pretty well known for alongside things like the Cassiopeia. Not exactly pro staples, but certainly No Way staples.
Absolutely. We've seen No Way, to be honest, like his champion pool is unique.
So distinctive, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of a symptom of him being, you know, like a solo queue streamer above all else, right? Not to disrespect his competitive experience, like obviously he's a quality player, but compared to the others who made their name starting from
not
pro
a
play,
meta slave. He knows what's really up.
Exactly.
Sorry.
He's got the strats. He's got the strats, and yeah. And to be honest, I think it's great for Fearless Draft, right?
Right to the Arcane summons, gonna try and get Lori with a few of those ultimate charges. Will force the flash, which isn't bad going, and prevents the reset. Santorian is around with the level 6 available.
Kiki's here
How
too.
far do they want to push it? Kiki's there as well, trying to shield this one out. Flash on in, but the steadfast presence prevents both members getting on in. Oh no, it's a disaster for NORD. True Shot Barrage comes across, won't secure the kill. They'll need to back away, and they go a little bit hard there as Lori presses the W button. And
That was
hands
great.
NORD a swift L.
Double deny from the gap closes there for NORD.
Woo! Hang on. Chachi going for the kill, gets Lofty with a boulder toss.
All right, the reports of Chachi's washed upness have been greatly exaggerated.
He's dirty.
Here he goes.
There's nothing clean. It's
Yeah. There he goes to the solo kill once away. Just to mention again for this bot side play, so how much value does the steadfast presence get? So he's going to get one here on Treats. Okay, we'll skip it, it's fine, it's chill. Gets one on Treats, then does it on Vi and Treats later as well. By the way, you and I both butt clinched the Ez ult. It was his own teammate's Ez ult, and now No Way is in trouble.
I just saw it coming on in, and yeah, no, that's super
me
fair.
too.
As,
I squealed, mate.
That one's a great Ezreal kill, though. No Way gets ganked by Lori, comes around the back and picks up a kill there, and suddenly Venomcrest in a really good spot. The gold lead back to even, and we've already seen a couple upsets today. I think some of our initially successful teams with all of those big names or big successes early on have been caught a little bit flat-footed, and I think there is a fair amount of fan sentiment, player sentiment even, that was a little dismissive of our less successful teams in the earlier stages of the tournament, in the earlier stages of the week. And teams like Venomcrest, teams like Verdant have made a bit of a career of proving people wrong when it comes to their level of play when it matters. And they've already slapped back a little bit here against NORD. No Way does have the flash, so shouldn't be at too much threat. As Lori went Hex flashing on in there. The Cocoon, though, onto Santorin. Gets a bit of a chunk. The turnaround potentially coming on through. It's just the Spiderlings that dies. A kind of raid going on down. But the big spider is a bit too Australian and will not be brought low by a single Q. Is Lori, though, in danger. In comes the Ornhorn, trying to turn this one around. And the Orchestra is a little bit more than the horn. And they'll bring another member down with the beauty of their music.
Steadfast presence, very good versus Vi. Q doesn't do anything versus Vi R, right? You're unstoppable during that. So that was the window that NORD thought they had right there. As Lori now super low.
Just walks away from the ball. Oh no! The dancing shoes are on. Lori just can't get hit by a skill shot. He's better. Remember when we were doubting him when he was saying he's a bit of a Hilla Sankos player? He's 3-1-1 right now.
He's doing it. Those Swifties and that winged moonplate certainly helps with the move speed to dodge these skill shots. Probably should have died there. Probably should have died, but really nice happy feet from Laurie. And at the same time, will enable his team to get those grubs as... Ooh, Morky there was...
He wants to stop
that was close.
I know.
Yeah, woof. Very close to dying there too.
Another set of grubs, though, this time going towards Venomcrest, and that gets them marks on the ground early on. And Venomcrest have managed to earn themselves a nominal gold lead here, about 600 gold. The problem, of course, remains, though, that the scaling pretty nasty here from NORD. You are the ones with the Poppy support, with the Elise. You want to be making sure you are making these plays early. Having so many of the kills in the Poppy, it's nice for getting out of the map and making sure you do get some of that early advantage put to use, but it's not in the Ezreal, it's not in the Hui. You are going to want some of that gold moving to other parts of your team in short order. It could prove problematic as the game gets a little bit later on.
Yeah, definitely. Laurie right now, as you said, 3/4 of his team's kills. Not ideal as we approach the more team fight stages of the game. As it is for now, it's fine if you can keep it up. And speaking of that, no ways in trouble again.
Steadfast presence into the heroic charge. The spiraling despair comes on down, and Xerath is a very, very sad boy. Wei paints him into the dirt.
It's all good getting those kills early on Poppy in the early stages. Like, it's fine if he can leverage them to keep this going. I did say, like, the roaming for Poppy is really where it's at, and that the Xerath mid would be a victim, and he certainly has been.
Hang on, it's a 1v, it's a 2v3. They're going to try and repel up, try and get the kill, but he gets knocked back. Oh, the Magnus still pulls him away, and the Venomous bite is not enough. Now Laurie goes down the moment we were praising them, saying you need to keep the pressure up. They drive face first into a Rel Magnet Storm.
Bit too greedy there when you don't know where the rest of NORD is, and you know you don't have the backup for the rest of your team. Just too much, and 2 kills for free being donated over there for NORD. Vizachachi surviving. Yeah, that is an oops when you've had such a good start to this game. Unfortunately as well, like Vizachachi is already able to put down a lot of pain onto Elijah. Could be in trouble.
Could be a little bit, as Laurie's back on the map though. Level 6, Hex Flash available. Can maybe think about coming over the wall here. Matty's burned the Valkyrie, has the flash and the cleanse. I don't think Laurie is feeling quite so aggro to dive that one as yet, especially with no Kiki around. Will prevent NORD from sticking around and continue to pressure Malky under turret nonetheless, as Elijah going to call of the Forge God to try and clear out the wave, taken down to 10% HP. You called it out earlier on, Chachi bullying here early.
Yeah, the Gnar is just so hard to lane versus, especially with this Triforce build. It's so good in the 1v1s. It's good against turrets as well with the Sheen hit. We're getting the back and forth. A lot of actions happening. Elijah, he respects it. He knows it. Kiki is in the area to cover.
Oh, tried to read the bush. Kiki went for the cocoon, wasn't there? It was Santorin on the Gromp instead. He's a little ahead of the Elise, and that's no surprise. Not exactly known for being the fastest farmer. Has gone towards Talk Pen boots early, whereas you've got the free ass boots on the other side as well, so a lot of value out of the runes in terms of items there, as Elise does like to get a hold of those early penetration boots, as her AP scaling's not fantastic. Really wants to abuse the penetration instead.
Exactly, and she wants move speed. She wants to zoom around the map. She wants to get around to make all those
Moby
plays.
boots, Elise, do you remember the days?
Dude, Moby boots, everyone. I remember the days.
Right?
Now we have Swifties plus feet of strength. It's pretty much the same thing. So this Poppy,
Like,
if she can secure these
how strong are
feats.
people's feet in League of Legends? Like, how much stronger? How much more can you lift with the power of Noxian supplements? I probably don't want to say any other words on
yeah, yeah.
Elijah.
Yeah. Significant as it seems as Elijah.
Yeah,
Can he
it
get
does
the
seem to
turret
be.
before he dies? Turret watch.
There's no way getting that one. He goes down. I tried to get the last auto off, couldn't quite do it.
Yeah.
I was
almost.
musing on the power of strong boots, courtesy of Noxus, and NORD proved that, get a proof of concept. Case in point, both these things kind of work.
Yeah, almost able to take that. I mean, let's not forget as well, like, NORD already have the first turret, so that's not going to contribute to Venomcrest's feat. If Venomcrest had taken it, because they already have the first 3 kills, right? So that would have given them the feat of strength, but obviously NORD already have taken the first turret, so it's not a thing. But we can see Vizachachi still pushing, by the way. That inner turret in bot lane.
Too, yeah.
He's just chilling. He's just chilling there. He's going to get a significant amount of damage on that with his Triforce. Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of work done. I think it's about half the HP of that turret gone, so certainly if he's given another bit of an opportunity, we'll be able to clear that turret out in relatively swift fashion. Malky hit with the Tempest, chunk to about half HP. The Arcano pulse as well. Going to start hitting at this point with the Luden's companion behind it as well. Still want to call that an echo all these years later. Herald, though, being started up, that will be the second objective mark for Venomcrest, and we've got ourselves Dragon spawning in 20 seconds, and NORD are going to look to trade that objective on the other side of the map.
Yeah, it's all about the objectives now for this feat. That's what it comes down to. NORD will have to deny the Dragon if they want to deny the feat. Elijah's taking a bit of a chunk. As you mentioned, it's all about just getting position for this Dragon here now. This Venomcrest might actually just concede this one, instead looking for a dive onto top side. There's no one there
Want
just
that turret,
yet.
finally, yeah.
Yeah, just to take the turret. I think this is a smart call.
Why is Poppy getting this gold? They're just going to give it to the Elisa the Poppy because they're there, I guess, but I'm going to go over to the local gold Elisa, over to either the Ezreal or the Way, both of whom you would think would be more fond recipients of that. Elijah, I don't know whether you can be there, my friend. It's a biblical story, all right, but I don't think this parable has a happy ending for you, mate. And he's going to go straight on down. Another Vault Breaker into some denting blows, secure the kill. Herald summon topside, though, with all the grubs, ensure the tier 2 goes down there. Kiki goes up into the air, and the Right of the Arcane is summoned, and unfortunately, you aren't Victor. You might be the initial user of the Arcane, but you're just not quite as cool, are you?
Just going to be able to skip away from that one with all the move speed. Even the Ether Wisp gives a little bit of move speed for Elise as well. Oh, Laurie's in a lot of trouble.
I think he's just dead. Gets whacked down. The feet were fancy enough for a moment or two, but chose the wrong path out and goes down. Now Lofty, throw down the Molten Fissure to clear out the way of it, but NORD are sticking around. They really want to continue the pressure on this tier 2.
It's going to be theirs as well. It's free. Nothing you can do about this if you're Venomcrest. It's a lot of turrets now have fallen in a short space of time from both sides. You can see the outer lanes here. Top side for NORD and the bot side for Venomcrest. Both of them losing all of their structures not in the base. Really is going to open it up to some split pushing, which will, you know, it is advantage NORD in this situation, right? This Triforce Gnar compared to the Ornn. See how that one plays out.
Malky, when stepping on forward to try and find an angle, fails it, but all the while, Xerath summoned the Right of the Arcane. No, sorry, that's not. It's just a recall animation that looks really similar to it. I apologize. Wow, that's a bold moment to press R. It's not even off cooldown, guys. I just got baited by a recall animation. Shows how much I see Xerath.
I thought that too. No, I thought that earlier as well. Oh, there's a charge here.
He's about to go down into mini now. That could prove problematic, especially with the brittle procs available. Well, Bellows breath briefly, but Chachi trading back. Elijah's gone pretty deep, forced to flash, and the last auto follows him. Oh, Elijah, Chachi taking no prisoners today.
The most dangerous ability in League of Legends, the fadeaway right click. Nothing that you can do about that one for Elijah unless you want to flash earlier. No ways in the... Yeah, he's just going to walk away from this one. Doesn't have the back.
Flash just far enough to prevent the heroic charge being arranged, but hang on, flashing for the fear with the devastating fire and a grim visage. And goodbye to No Way. Kill picked up by the way into the tier 2 is pretty good value, but NORD are doing a good job of cross-miming. It feels like both teams have been very willing to play where the other team isn't. The gold lead has swung in NORD's favor nonetheless, though. Up about 1,000 gold here, courtesy of the additional CS and just some of that earlier play going their way.
Yeah, Laurie has spotted out treats, but I don't think we'll go for this play when they're all by themselves. And I agree, the cross-mapping has been something this game for sure. Both teams happy to let their structures fall in favor of going for their own structure. So you can see here, the play doesn't really... The play that you're seeing on your screen isn't that impactful. Look what's happening on the minimap, dude. The tier 1 in mid dies, the tier 1 in top dies, and NORD almost take the tier 2 in mid. So that's 2 turrets for that play, plus almost a third in mid as well, which is quite valuable. Like, we're just trading objectives and structures all over the shop.
We are treat. There's a lot of members of Venomcrest into 4-man Magnet Storm, though! Into all of the rights of the Arcane you could ask for! It's a black magic disaster for the side of Venomcrest! NORD are the anti-Venom this time around!
Just like that, this game, which has been very even, very back and forth, nothing explosive happening, boom! From nowhere, the Treats engage has been sick so far in NLC. And the combo Look at this. A 4-man flash magnet storm. 3-man Q stun as well. There's just no counterplay if you're Venomcrest here. The follow-up from NORD was sublime. And before you know it, that's a 4-0 in favor of NORD and a 4,000 gold lead.
I genuinely thought with all of those members of Venomcrest, it'd be really risky to contest them at this point in the game. And Treats just laughs at them. He just breaks their ankles. And you've just got to remember, of course, when you've got the Xerath, your ability to follow up from miles away is very high. And now Noe's got a bit of support. They're going to continue to try and chase onto Noe, but they've got Atakan. They've got withdrawals. That's what the price was of that last monster engage from Treats. They pick up the kill on Lori, who is beginning to fumble a little bit more on the Poppy. Again, it's part and parcel of the champion. You are obligated to go forwards, and it is getting harder and harder from this support position to be as dangerous as you were in the opening stages. And now, facing those withdrawals with the sole point on the board in 5 seconds, I think Venomcrest are in a dicey spot. They'll try and pick up Noe, but it's just a withdrawal, and they burned an ultimate to do it.
NORD want more here.
They certainly do. Kiki misses the cocoon, and that gives him a moment to step on forwards on the other side. Another Magnet Storm comes on in, and Lofty is brought swiftly down to earth. Not very lofty anymore. He's looking very, very mortal indeed. And this particular team, full of all the Leaguepedia pages you could be asking for, will be clocking up another win. You have to feel. Treats comes cantering on forwards, misses the shattering strike, but will not miss the crash down, and Vizichachi brings the fist down. Noe treating out with a 5-level advantage onto Lori. The Eye of the Tempest once again being used, and 4, 3, and 4. Remember, this Xerath started at 0 and 2, was struggling in this game. Not anymore.
Opposite can be said of Lori, who was 3 and 1, now
Right.
3 and 5. Yeah, it's just one of those picks. This kind of what happens. So Noe clearing minions on 15% HP. You're kind of asking for trouble, and trouble arrives. But unfortunately for Venomcrest, Atakan with the withdrawal and the revive, it doesn't really yield you too much. And because NORD are in the area to go for the collapse, they're able to easily return the favor. Even with Noe TPing back in to join the fight as well. It's just so tough to find these picks against that Atakan revive, and you have to recognize that if you're Venomcrest, that you're not going to be able to find those plays, and that is 4 in the end, right? Another 4 free kills in NORD's back pocket.
And arguably the worst person to kill as well, because go straight into a pause, unfortunately. They teleport it, they kill off the Xerath, who teleports and presses R immediately and is involved in every play after that, so he's straight back in range. Unfortunately, we have got a little bit of an issue. Did get a heads up from production. There's a voice comms issue, and obviously that's a really big deal when it comes to competitive play. So pausing to try and sort that out to make sure everyone is connected and hearing each other, as that is pretty key.
Yeah, it helps. I heard. Just ask the Ruddy Sack from yesterday, who played with Perks on mute for the first 10 minutes.
No, really? What?
No, literally, it happened. Perks was muted for the first 10 minutes of games. Didn't realize that. This is not insider information, by the way. They tweeted this out. I think.
I love that that's the
sure.
communication in that team. It's just so on brand.
Didn't even realize it was muted. Why is it? That, honestly, though.
That's a top player's experience.
If Perks had the role swap to top, he would have figured that out within the first few minutes, mate. But because he was a top laner, he can go 10 minutes of the game without even realize no one can hear him and no one's communicating with him because he's a top laner. Yeah, standard. Absolutely standard stuff.
There's a lot of people feeling very vindicated right now. You know, there's Jamada on Deska. I know he oscillates between playing Kayn and GP. And he oscillates between top and jungle a little bit. But part of the reason I know that he steps away from top lane sometimes, he just starts having these moments where it's like, why am I playing this lane where I'm all alone and then people lane swap on me even in solo queue and then everything else gone wrong on the rest of the map and I don't matter. And there you go. Don't even need to be talking, and still somehow no one notices.
Yeah, that is just a statement, isn't it? Right there, it really is. I mean, I'm surprised that he opts to play jungle as a, that's his backup, because that's not much more fun. I can tell you that. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, you do have significantly more agency over the game though. Even if people then get angry about the fact that they've died before you finished your first buff, like
that's exactly
yes,
it.
I could have helped you here. Is
the mental strength you need
not
to play that
projecting it.
role is unparalleled. And I mean, I'm gonna draw a comparison into this game here as well. If we can bring it slightly back into what's actually happening
Well
here. Yeah, Venomcrest and NORD. Venomcrest now, you know, they had that one gaff really with the 4-man engage from Trees. I mean, I don't even want to say it was a mistake from Venomcrest. It was beautifully done by NORD and by Trees specifically. You know, you just get wiped there, like 4-3 kills, just like that. Straight into Atakan with the revivals. More kills coming through from NORD as well. Like it, you know, it was a huge turnaround point in a game that otherwise was pretty even. You know, it was pretty even here, and it just goes to show, like, from a NORD perspective, the caliber of that team, they are still just a cut above. Like, even when they're behind, or you know, yeah. To be honest, they were kind of struggling a little bit at times in this game, especially with what Laurie on the Poppy was able to do.
I mean, the early game was really risky, right? Like, we were seeing a number of kills go over. Laurie was getting quite scary and quite active, but the other side of that is you're playing Poppy Elise. If you're not getting active, if you're not doing these things, then why have you drafted that? The problem is it was never coming for free. NORD were taking, what, tier 2s while all of this was happening, and nothing came for free. The gold stayed even. NORD were very clear at kind of making sure that the game stayed as even as it could. And unfortunately, it's going to stay even for a little bit longer because we are going to have to throw to a break while we resolve this tech issue. Back in a few minutes, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Well, long time no see. The pause is resolved. We're back into game. Apologies on that delay. As we said, sorting out those comms was a pretty big deal. Nord, we're fighting over this dragon as Laurie's gone on in. He's trying to run as fast as his little legs will carry him. Lollipoppy, no! Oh dear, we'll charge back, but even the most horrifying splash art in all of League of Legends history will not be enough to dissuade Nord from bringing down the Yordle.
Did buy some time on that dragon, mind you, so Nord have peeled away from that for now. I still think that's probably gonna fall down anyway.
It's an 8,000 gold lead, mate. I don't think it's stopping anytime soon.
Yes, yeah. I mean, Nord don't even care. They don't even care about the dragon at all. You know, I mean, in a minute's time, we've got Nash coming up as well, and that would be something that Venomcrest would want to contest. But I'm just not sure how you do it at this point. If I'm Nord, like, this is, I start posturing towards the top side of the map, right? We start going towards there, setting the vision up, denying vision from Venomcrest, making that Nash play as secure as possible. Because it's how you close this game out easily, but it would also be a way to throw. And speaking of throw, no way.
He's in so much trouble. That's not the best flash I've seen in my life. The shutdown goes the way of the way delightfully for Venomcrest. You even get the flash too, and all those Magi stacks disappear in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, this is disappointing, really. Like, it's unnecessary. Laurie's going to fall down here as well.
Not again. You were just there. You just saw it go down. Why are you back, Laurie? No.
I feel like there's a Poppy. It just happens. You play Poppy and you have to run and fight and contest everything. It just takes over your body. You have to make the plays. Yeah, not ideal there, but it seems as though that death. I mean, I don't know.
Laurie is always a playmaker. I'll give it to him, and he's never shy. I think there is a little bit of tempering to be done, but you can see the willing, you can see the thought process, but just sometimes there's just a touch of it in there, just a touch.
Just a touch, yeah. 7 kills worth of in, yeah, just a tad. He's certainly no stranger to the Reaper this game, as Nord are baiting the Nash with engage.
Again! It's 5 members! Laurie's even back on the map. Treats, though, might actually be punished for it, as the follow-up isn't as good as it was that time in the jungle. But Matty goes looking. Laurie charges onto the Corki to prevent the easy autos coming on through. The Poppy will die. But I think I will give them that death, as it gives a little bit more space to the way. But Visitachi with Mega Narbar building will not allow that one to go entirely unpunished. 2 for 3 in the end, but Venomcrest managed to avert in total disaster.
2 for 3 is not bad when you're this far behind and you stop the Nash. Treats gets another sick, huge engage right here onto all the members of Venomcrest. Is this a replay or is he just, this is live, right?
He's just dying. I think he's just dying again.
Oh, hold on.
No, he doesn't get away. Okay, all right, no way. No way he literally does, as I need to be careful how I use that particular name pun. I hadn't realized it in the picture-in-picture we saw the end of that replay, but now Chachi caught on a recall. I don't think there's any real way out here. They'll donate the 1,000 gold shutdown over to the Ezreal.
I mean, we needed a miracle for Venomcrest to win this game, and 1,000 gold into your ADC might just be it, or at least it is a start. Nord have been disrespecting Venomcrest here. I feel like, you know, the game plan is pretty simple, pretty chill, pretty easy.
How Treats is going to walk over Vision? How deep is he? I think he might be in a Laurie position. They're going to try and find him. Laurie is there. Going to try and catch out the Rel. Kiki can't quite get on over, and the Baron's been aggro. What is going on? I think Venomcrest, you just need to leave. Don't be here. Santorin's going to be able to go over the wall because everyone else is separated, and Hui is a snack for someone's gym routine.
Okay, there it is again. Just the positioning here is just not it. It's a 4 versus 5 in favor of Venomcrest. This was a window for you to try and make that play, but splitting up like that, you know, it's unforgivable here, and it's going to cost you. It's going to cost the Nash and for Nord. I mean, this is it. This is the wink on here. You just take the Nash and you're chilling. But Kiki, all eyes on Kiki. Can he steal the Baron?
That's going to be a heroic, the Keeper's verdict. I apologize, maybe to get on him, but Chachi's to the back line as well. Kiki flashes away and they pulled off the Baron. Elijah low, going down. Minions take out a turret. The right of the Arcane onto the Spider. The Blast going to try and catch up with the Gustwalker speed. Keeps the Spider safe, but Nord pull back to the Baron. They secure the neutral objective. Maoki shoves out the wave in mid lane to D-push and try and mitigate the Baron as much as they can.
They're going to collapse onto the edge, but I don't think they can
Oh,
find
Kiki.
him. Kiki, on the other hand, has the
Blast
glass cone. Yeah, should be able to get out for this one. So in the end, it's just Elijah and Laurie that fall.
Treats is
Although,
still
I
seeing
don't
this
know
with
if
the
he's
mount up
done-
coming on through. Bit of Ferromancy
Surely they
allowed,
can't.
and here comes Chachi. I think they can. That's an ignite. He's just dead.
But his team is close. Yeah, okay. I wasn't expecting that. Fair enough. So there it is. That's a solo, by the way, for
It
Treats.
is, yeah.
Just brought all that down at the end there. A lot of
Treats.
damage coming through from that
I
jump.
don't think you'll kill that one. Hang on, the step fast pressing comes on down, and now you're in a 2v3, and Malky does not want to step further forwards, and the attempt to turn around pick does not go very well. Lofty is here, but we'll find the Mega Nav. Fleeing briefly as Vizicachi and is spiraling into despair. Don't think he'll quite burn out. Over the wall, Santorin is having none of it. Still forced to flee, gets knocked up again by the Searing Charge, and now the Vi is a little deep, but flaps her little wings on the back of this Demon Vi. Is no way now, looking for an angle over the wall, but that Pink Ward buys a bit of time. Matty, though, goes Valkyrieing on in, and sends them all straight to Valhalla. The Corky turns up, secures a double.
5 members strong here for Nord with the Baron buff. Just Elise remaining, and a support Poppy comes out of the grey screen to try and save this game.
Oh.
It's going to be tough. You have to feel like Nord might just be going up 1-0 in this series.
A final snipe to end it all. The right of the Arcane lands the final artillery shot. Nord will be seeing no more upsets today. 32 kills in sub 30 minutes. It is a bloodbath, but it's a Nord favoured one.
And this game was so close to begin with. Right, we got through about 10-15 minutes of this game, maybe even 20 minutes of this game, with it being close and with Venomcrest looking really good for a long time. But, one team fight, boom, Nord just find it, they find the angle, and from that, they never look back, and it was incredibly difficult for Venomcrest to hold on, and yeah, just dying on spawn over and over and over and over and over again. It was sloppy past the 20-minute mark. Some things to work on here going into game 2 for both teams.
And I think Nord didn't get sucked down into the chaos in quite the same way. They managed to hold their nerve. They traded well when the early game started to go a little awry with the Poppy and the Elise making a lot of plays. The gold stayed largely even. They didn't snowball out of control. Chachi became a menace in the side lane. No Way didn't let the 0-2 start hurt him too much, and then that rel engage happens in the red side jungle, and it all goes downhill real fast. I think though, before I'm not going to get a chance to have a more conversation with you with production, do give me the heads up. The desk is ready. They can break it down from here. Venomcrest signs of life, but it is still Nord who win the mid and late pretty handily.
That's it. Early game, signs of life, and then mid-late, Nord completely took over. So let's talk about the early game to understand where Venomcrest was shining and where we can see them show up again on game 2.
Yeah, it was close until it wasn't. That's kind of the way I want to phrase this. I was impressed since I felt like Venomcrest have drafted themselves into a tough situation, and be able to keep it even for the first 20 minutes was pretty impressive, finding some good picks. And Laurie, he is a crazy man on the support role, very aggressive on this Poppy, fun to watch for sure, finding some early kills as well alongside his team, but get caught out once in the jungle at 20 minutes and the game just fell apart. Nord clinical once they got that lead.
Yeah, I mean, it was very clear that once Nord
There we
found this fight, also known as
Treats.
the jungle incident, excellent engage from Treats. We don't really do the per game MVP here, but I have a feeling if we did, Treats would be getting the count on this one. And yeah, I mean, not even really fully sure what Venomcrest were looking for to be. Well, I know what they were looking for. It was a pick, but like I don't know why they were looking for the pick there.
They found the pick
of all places. And yeah, I kind of just have to echo the sentiments here of what Ducklings put out. It's about the draft being very difficult to execute. Cool, they remained even with Nord. Imagine if they remain even and they have a draft that doesn't stink, right? Past 20 minutes. The world for Venomcrest looks a lot different, you know? And I feel like they had too many limiting factors in, like, what can the Elise do against the range of Corky and Xerath, realistically, right? Against a Vi team fight with Rel Engage. It just feels like too big an ask, because that kind of champion in comp not only does it need to get ahead and, you know, nameplates on, you are the weaker team, like, no questions asked. You then have to get ahead and not only maintain your lead, but you have to start creating pockets of fog on the map and allowing picks to actually happen between Poppy and Elise. it's very, very difficult to do that consistently when, you know, foundation, your draft doesn't really allow for that to happen in the first place.
Yeah, and we just saw the 20-minute fight before, right? And the thing is, after that, the game really fell apart within the next few minutes, because just a few minutes later, there was another massive team fight, right? This was after Ardekan was gained after the initial fight we saw before. And they commit here to getting no way. I think that's a fine idea, actually, but NORD, they read the play well, they respond even better. TP coming in from Charge here at the top as well. And Venomcrest, they got that one withdrawal, but they're gonna pay for it again. Losing 4, and the game, fell into absolute shambles. They were picked apart, then rebuilt back up again, just to be ripped apart once more from NORD. And they were really clinical once they got that lead. You can see here, right, getting Kiki as well, who was just taking his Crux. He wasn't even in the fight, and he's also gonna go down.
You know what, though? If I have to be cynical for a moment, I don't even think they were particularly clinical. I just don't think Venomcrest could play the game. I genuinely,
that could be right. That could be right.
I think it's so hard to play the game. You know, you saw like No Way 2 or 3 times just genuinely asleep at the wheel because of how ahead they were. And you know, if that's a closer game, I don't think No Way's playing like that, right? So, to me, I think that was more of a statement of how, the priorities in what Venomcrest wanted for that game. You know, maybe there's some theory to it. I mean, there is theory to it, and I think we know what it is, but that's just not the meta we're in right now, right? And you have to really outplay your opponents to execute on a draft like that. And I think you're just putting too much of a burden from minute 1 on yourselves if that's the kind of game plan you're looking to play on. When, you know, I get it. Weaker team, maybe you're thinking you can't outplay 5v5, let's play something cheeky, a little bit cheesy. I never see stuff like that work right now in this meta because there is too much objectifying. It is just the way that you have to play the game. So yeah, a little bit disappointed with Venomcrest. Maybe they can bounce back. Maybe they bring something a little bit more standard.
Yeah, there's still much to be said about them, right? I genuinely want to say there were some positives for those 50 minutes, especially with this draft. But I mean, I'm gonna go back to Treeks because I think he was really, the MVP of this match. That final engage to really end the fight. And as you said, Jamada, they wanted to get the picks, but instead, constantly, Venomcrest as a whole team was getting picked apart by Treeks. Here again, he finds the 4-man engage. Laurie gladly jumps into the meat grinder, and this was just the final nail in the coffin. It was pretty much already slammed shut this game, but there was nothing more to be done. Matty, you know, able to just have a bit of fun on the backline as an 80 carry Colt. He just kind of tells you the game state we're in, right? As he did eventually get sniped out. But yeah, I'm unsure about how exactly to phrase this because I was impressed that Venomcrest were able to keep it, you know, somewhat even until that 20-minute mark. But the draft just feels unplayable and it all kind of falls apart.
It's a very hard feeling to, you know, actually verbalize here because, Venomcrest did a pretty good job of staying even, but they didn't really get a big enough map state lead ever to play out what this composition wants to do. And the one consistent that you're seeing in a lot of these clips is they're grouped up together. You don't want to be grouped up together with this composition. This is not the composition where you want to have everyone near one another. It's fog of war, it's collapsing on people who are out of position, but they're the ones getting constantly collapsed on as groups of 3, 4, and 5.
You talked about it. This composition is extremely hard to execute, especially when you're fighting versus someone with a lot of experience. And as they stated on the interview, they've been trying out new things. And apparently, they are working. Venomcrest, they have one more option and one more opportunity to turn this around. But in order to do that, we have to see the champion select. In order to do that, a small break before we come back. And also, Professor is waiting for us for class.
Welcome back, class, to League of Legends-ology NLC edition. Week 2 is in the books, no more seeding stage, now we move straight into the playoffs. Let's check in with our teams. and see what grades they got last week. At the top of Group A, to no real surprise, Los Ratones, they haven't dropped a game yet. 4-0. Despite winning both their games, they did look kind of mortal. Not the cleanest week from them. Having said that, when they did get any opportunities, they absolutely ran with it. Sign of an elite team. Some sloppiness will cost their grade a little bit, but they're still getting an A-. Second in the group was NORD, 3-1. They handedly took down Bulldog in week 2, despite feeding the enemy Jinx. Loads of kills early, which is not a good idea. And then versus Lightside, they were especially dominant. Bot lane, 13-0-8. Woof! Their grades moving up. Also at an A- for week 2. Last 3 teams of Group A, we had to go to tiebreakers, and coming out on top was Bulldog. After an absolutely shocking week 1, I'm glad to see this student take things a little more seriously in week 2. They're 2 very tough assignments, having to play versus Los Ratones and NORD, but then when it came to the tiebreakers, they were nothing short of quality. B-. Well done. Fourth place after tiebreakers was Verdant, ironically the team that got the closest to bringing down Los Ratones. Sadly, it wasn't quite enough, and they also played their worst game of the split, getting dismantled by Lightside. The revenge versus Lightside in the tiebreakers, but was stopped by Bulldog. Some very high highs and some pretty low lows. C. Rounding off the group in A, Lightside. They picked up their first win of the split versus Verdant, but they just couldn't build from it. The tiebreakers were a total categoric flop. If it weren't for that Verdant game, they would be getting an F. D-. Moving on to Group B, another 4-0 undefeated team. Rich Gang, they played versus DMG, and Chaos looked very strong. Unfortunately for their grade, DMG and Chaos don't really look that good, so it doesn't mean a huge amount if you beat them, but still can't take away from what they did. A-. Raysack, second place in Group B, had a very chill game versus DMG. Perks was on a mage in top lane, like he was pretty good at that. It's almost like he could be a mid laner or something. And versus Venomcrest, it was an interesting strategy to give Yankos Skarner. There are a few good team fights from Venomcrest, but Ruddy were just a step above all their opponents this week. Finally, we get to see their caliber. A-. Venomcrest in third place. They dismantled Chaos, but as I said, that doesn't really mean a huge amount. And versus Ruddy, even though they lost, they didn't go down without a fight. They looked pretty good actually in week 2. B. In the penultimate spot of Group B, we have DMG. They had an exceptionally hard schedule versus Rich Gang and the Ruddy Sack. No, they're hard games, they just did not look good. I'm going to give them a D, and that's only because they played versus hard teams. If they look like that versus any other team, it's a straight F. And in last place in Group B, the only team so far in the NLC who hasn't picked up a win, it's Chaos. Feel a little bit bad to do this to them, but it's not looked good, honestly. They're really gonna have to turn something around for the playoffs. They get an F. Playoffs are just around the corner. Wednesday, 6 PM CET on the NLC channels. Be there.
Thank you, Professor. I like the fact that on the NLC we have a professor, we have a news anchor. Duckling, we're just waiting for you.
I mean, I can do a bit of both, but I
got-
can
you
be both
gotta
the news
find-
anchor and the teacher.
I'm not saying to steal the job of other people. I'm saying like get your gimmick, you know?
My gimmick. I think
Yeah.
you know what my gimmick is, bro. Oh yeah, pølse, Danmark, number 8. Yeah, come.
Venomcrest are against the wall at this moment, and NORD are sinking their teeth in. The snake is the one in danger right now. Can they shed the skin and move on to new grounds, or will it be a 2-0? So far, NORD has been an incredible team during play days as well. They've adapted. We talked about the fact that they came in with less experience in terms of scrims with this roster than other teams. But they're trying out and they're sneakily tryharding. I like the way Treats phrased it, because you could see him sneakily tryharding on this game. He was a goat. But with that in mind, these champions are out. What changes?
a lot for Venomcrest, you'll have to say, right? They need to rethink their whole strategy here. I'd rather see them play for the 5v5. And I mean, I'm not against entirely the idea of cheese, but as Yamada said, right, there is so much focus on these neutral objectives and fights around objectives that a pick composition with Elise and Poppy support simply won't work.
Yeah.
Important point to make.
Yamada, no, with sound would be better though. Okay.
With sound.
Yeah. Oh, we have it now. Okay.
We have it.
I just misheard. Yeah, my bad. Continue.
You're
love
good.
you.
Yeah, like yeah, it's easy to build like compositions that still fit within what the meta wants and you know, demands out of you. And I'm sure that Venomcrest are capable, right? They're one of the few teams that are picking up Ivern. Ivern, you know, weirdly dropped out of meta from sort of world/pre-worlds. Champion's still really good. I don't know why people don't pick it, right? It's well, actually, I know why. The reason is early game skirmishing is so important. Ivern doesn't really fit into that meld, or it's very difficult to make fit into that meld. But if you're willing to give up maybe an early objective or two, you can build compositions around that, right? And there's other champions that fit that form too. So, and not just in the jungle. So that's more what I would like to see Venomcrest actually do. Put together a composition that maybe you won't see all of these champions super frequently, but as a unit they work well and, you know, fit to actually skirmishing and team fighting around objectives that has a low, you know, again, a low execution flaw. The second that you raise the bar in, you know, a playoff situation where you've got a bunch of unexperienced players, you know, compared to the players sat across from you, you're just asking for games like that game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you're asking for one of those clean execution, maybe one of those R plays. Like if you play R, it just works and it fits. I mean, if you're a rookie, I know Duckling keeps talking about this. If you're a rookie, maybe that's the window to go through and find a new path.
I mean, it is also the fact, one thing, Venomcrest as an orc, defending champions, that adds extra pressure. You're playing with a roster consisting of 4 rookies and a guy who didn't make playoffs last year. This is, you know, a first thing for everyone on the roster. And who are you going against? You're going against a roster consisting of an LCS winner, Worlds caliber players who's been to Worlds, and I mean, it really is a tough start, right? It's not easy to start on your playoff journey in that sense. And then to pick a pick composition, you're digging your own grave, buddy. You need to do something different. I'd rather see them give it a fair shot against NORD playing a more standard and traditional composition than, you know, try this cheese route and just feel like they don't really get to show their strength.
I agree. Right now, Venomcrest in NORD. From NORD, though, what can they do to just seal the deal? I think it's more self-explanatory, but yeah.
More of the same.
Don't change.
There's little analysis to bring. They have it's hard to say they have an identity, but they know what they want from each other, and it seems like they know what they want from themselves. Only point of criticism is, hey, no way, I know it's getting late, but just stay awake, bro. That's it, you know. Don't lose laps in judgment. You know, if that's a closer game, those picks could be important, right? Those picks could have been important if that was a closer game. Obviously, likely played it the way he did because of the lead that they had, but still a little bit of respect in the sense of just trying to make sure you can close out that game sooner rather than later. We're here though, game number 2, picks banned.
Decisive.
Let's see how things are gonna go.
So far the same. Victor and Skarner being removed. What else are you going for? Wukong being left on the table on the previous one. Maybe this time we'll get some more agency towards that pick. You can see that at the top with the Kit Kat Fearless Draft. If you pick it, it's banned for life, or at least for the cities. As far as going to take the ban as well, the ban hammer. Meanwhile, the Callista, it's also available. Do you take it out or do you pick it? Do you favorite it?
I think maybe NORD will be comfortable enough leaving it open, saying, you know, Mauki, take that Callista, put that pressure on yourself, right, to make it work in the early game and try and snowball that lead. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them not ban it, but there is also the argument, it's just so strong in the meta. Your red side, just ban it out of respect, but the Jace ban to me makes more sense, as Elijah has really had some decent performances, even against Rodisek on that Jace.
Yeah, bans are kind of coming through a bit slow here, which makes me wonder if there's a lot of thinking going on about what the priority will be. I like the Wukong call out because to me, I think Wukong is the kind of champion I would like to see Venomcrest pull out, right? To me, personally, I think he's the best jungler in the game. Now, might be a hot take depending on who you speak to, but I think it's more because he fits right in that middle ground of being a strong early game skirmisher, but also being such a powerful teamfight facilitator that he's almost always useful. It's very difficult for a Wukong to not have a role inside of a team fight. So whilst we haven't seen Venomcrest pick it up, so far throughout this year, and they won't pick it up here, they'll go towards the Rumbleverse pick. I hope that it's on their radar as something that they should definitely look into to pick up, whether it's this game here, the rest of the series, if they manage to equalize against NORD, or throughout the rest of the playoffs.
Do you take this one? Vizichachi
I think
instantly
you do, right?
opening up? Do you? Okay,
Yeah,
there you go. Now Wukong, make it easy, make it snappy.
The Wukong would make sense, but I wouldn't be surprised if Nord don't take it. Yeah, I mean, they have other options. I was thinking Sensao as well, Viego being left open. I mean, there are many jungle options still, in my opinion, especially considering Elise isn't strong in the jungle meta, right? So looking at the bans as well, not many junglers have realistically been removed. The AD carry would make a lot of sense as well, to be fair, with a lot of AD carries being removed down in the ban pool already, and the 2 in the Fearless draft, as you can see on above. So Ashe, one of the meta AD carries left open, and yeah, understandable to take that. A lot of utility secure.
Yeah, I mean, now I'm a little bit mildly concerned for the AD. There's 2 AD bans on the side of Venomcrest, Ashe on the other side with Kalista ban, and obviously the 2 previous ones. Where do you start to look? I mean, you could end up in a pretty rough matchup. I was going to suggest maybe you kind of go towards something like a Jhin to try and match the utility. It's not something that they've played so far. I feel like the Ashe has room to, the Jinx has room to potentially struggle, especially in lane, at the range and the potential poke to come out from an Ashe. So I think they're going to need to supplement this with a really good support matchup, and maybe drop that to the 4-5, pick up jungle, and just try to get your hands on a counter pick. And there's the Wukong. I'm glad that they picked it up. Like we said, very strong team fire, very strong skirmisher. Fits right down that middle. He's kind of a jack of all trades in that regard. And he sets up perfectly for the Rumble ults in the mid game. And now it's just about Laurie actually finding an engaged support that's going to be able to additionally give a lot of lockdown in these fights.
I mean,
Okay,
a lot of options
I
here,
got
right? You
confused.
could go towards the jungle, but the Ambassador, not a bad shout either. Instead, though, securing that support, that makes it very clear what these teams want to target, right? Laurie's champion pool will now be put under pressure by NORD in the draft, I'd suspect, and Venomcrest, they'll look to try and pinch that jungle pool even further.
You still have a few, even the Nautilus if you want. The Braum would be the one to pair up with the Ashe, but the Leon is already there because you take it away from Lottie. So you don't want the Jinx to have that protection. There are others. We've seen the Tahm Kench to protect the Jinx. It's a weird one. I don't know. When I look at Jinx nowadays, I'm like, do you have enough damage to get excited? It's a riddle. Zyda for the jungle as well. For Nord, I was thinking maybe you can pair up with the Sejuani that was banned in the previous game. See what you pick into the mid lane. You get a few cool ultimates, so maybe a Silas.
Okay.
No way he likes to play from afar. There you go. The bans are done, and now it's time to go back to the pick. I mean, it's not a Zyda, it's an AP. That would be interesting. Yeah, I was thinking
I was
maybe
wondering
it's
as
not
well.
me, but
It's
Jamada.
my fault. It's my fault.
Okay, in the end though,
because I
it doesn't end up being that Karthus, right? And I think that was also why
Yeah.
the rest of us were waiting in silence, because was that really gonna be locked? It would have been a bold move. Instead, taking the Ivy, adding some more security, does make the comp a little bit more peculiar, but it's very clear that this was screaming for an AP jungler, and while that is, AP based, it's more of a utility jungler.
Yeah, I think they're still going to need to find an AP jungler and mid laner here with this kind of jungle pick, because Ivern doesn't really provide that much damage. And it's kind of what I was alluding to. If they go Karthus whilst I was muted, I wouldn't actually be so certain that No Way has like a super confident AD mid lane pick. So I like this as an answer. And Galio plus Nautilus come in with a Jinx is like full blow. Okay, you're going forward. Swain looks awesome. Cassiopeia, if you can survive the initial engage, looks great at stopping the forward movement. I don't think they're going to have enough burst damage to kill a Swain. I would love a Swain, but a Nivea is a really, really nice call
That's
out.
nice.
Because you're dealing with four melee champions. Only one of them can get over the wall. It's going to be super difficult to ever get on top of this Anivia if it's not through a Nautilus ult or some kind of weird positioning error from No Way. So I love this. Positioning is going to be key. And I think priority in the mid lane is going to be a very interesting one, especially once we hit level 6, right? Venomcrest have to get the most out of the skirmishing power of this Galio. Otherwise, they're going to struggle, I think, as the game goes on to really make a dent in this composition of NORD. At least we got what we asked for out of Venomcrest, an easier to execute composition front to back. But against what NORD have sculpted for themselves, I think is a very, very difficult mountain to climb.
Yeah, I can't believe
point will be such a threat. Tell me, Duckling.
I can't believe Norway locked in the NORD logo, man. That is absolutely crazy, locking in that that blue bird, right? I mean, he's really representing the org world there, that German, as I am. I'm feeling good if you're NORD here. I think they've got this in the bag, but I do like what Venomcrest have got. Give them that 5v5, see if you can beat them at their own game, and if you do that, going into game 3, it will be very spicy, but my bet is still on NORD.
Easier to execute for Venomcrest, but NORD has 6 people to play with, because Daisy also counts. And it's time to go for the second one. Let's see where we land up at the end of the game. But before that, Costas, what do you think?
It's very bold of Archeron to assume we have the capacity for higher level thinking. Like, there's nothing going on up here, mate. Like, on a regular basis.
Yeah, of course. That's why we're all gamers. And why we all chose League of Legends to be our game.
Right, you know, nice simple game, no complexity to this one at all. Certainly no nuances or changes. This game stays the same, like, all the time. No patches on a regular basis or anything. But onto the Rift here, jokes aside. NORD have drafted themselves a comp that we're quite happy with. This Anivia and the ability to separate some of these melees with an Ivan, throwing up things like Daisy to really, really mess up the front line. Could get very tricky for Venomcrest if they choose the wrong engage targets.
It just seems like such a frustrating comp to play into.
Right.
Anivia, Ivan, like, ugh, so annoying. Elijah, though, is going to spot out this invade from NORD.
Oh.
Yeah. I think we're chilling here. Ah, we're not chilling. Venomcrest have got the pings. They've put in the pings into NORD's jungle. There's a straggler here.
And I'll remind you, you're running an Ivan. You need to mark your camps early or your early game is really tricky. They're going to try and prevent stuff. Doesn't look like it. Gets away with it this time
around. If they'd waited a bit longer, they would have found No Way here as well, yeah. Woo! Okay.
He's not running the NORD colours on that bird, though, is he? He's chosen... Could have gone for a bluer skin, No Way. Come on now.
Could have done, but the character animations are the most important thing when you're playing League of Legends. That's why Muay Thai Lee Sin was one of the most popular
And it's always great. I really liked Acolyte Lee Sin as well. Like
mate, that was my favourite as well.
So good.
Yeah,
I'm really a very bad Lee Sin player, though. I'm fine in the early game, and then I hit team fights, and I have to go for the cool play. And it's just a mistake, nearly inevitably, as I go for it and then sort of like die on my keyboard, and it's sort of like a death in slow motion multiple times. Just spend my time looking at a grey screen. It's not pretty. Don't watch me play Lee Sin.
Well, what's the point of picking Lee Sin if you're not going for those plays?
That's very true. Thank you. I'm glad you understand me, Foxy.
You've got to do it. You've got to do it. Yeah, maybe not the best strat, but you've got to go for it. Let's see here in the early game, though. We've got some pretty standard stuff happening. Jinx pushing in, as she does with her rockets on her Q. Makes it very easy to do that. So fighting here already at the top side. Now, don't forget that Rumble into Cassante. It's a tough matchup for Cassante.
It is.
Rumble does have a bit of an advantage here, as he does against a lot of melee champions. But Vizicachi has done some pretty disgusting Vizicachi things so far here in NLC. If anyone can make this matchup work, I would expect it to be him. And so far, so good.
And again, this is a player who basically retired, right? Stopped playing League of Legends, was out of the game for a long, long time, came back to LEC, didn't have the best time of it, and now he's back down at this level as Maoki, forced to flash away with the Ignite and the Cleanse. Enough talk about top lane, bot lane's where the action is, and Matty gets first blood. Treats will be traded back, but the damage is done, and look where the kills have been allocated. That's an Ashe who's still in lane versus the Jinx who's dead with only an assist to her name. And top side, Elijah has got himself in the danger zone, but there will be no Top Gun music videos required this time around as Vizicachi gets out to safety.
Yeah, like you mentioned, a kill over to Xmati versus a kill onto Lori. Now, Xmati's overstaying a little bit here because he wants to shove this wave, but this is very risky. They see it. They see Wukong in the corner there. I'm fairly certain that was spots him out.
Still around. We'll have Brushmaker. They're going to try and trade it out. Throws down the Warrior Trickster. Oh, Matty tried to bait it with his team, and he's got nowhere to go. Oh, you can see what the thought process is from NORD, but the execution could use a little bit of work.
Jamada said it on the desk. Ivan fell out of favor because he wasn't so good at these early skirmishes. And I think that counts. I think that counts. Like, you can't really help out too much. Like, obviously, Ivan has a lot of utility, a lot of tools to protect people, but it's just not enough. And speaking of not enough, I don't think Elijah's got enough to survive this top.
He's going to try and get in range for a Q2 and quite have it. Does have the teleport back, so it'll be flash for flash in the end. Flash away from Lofty in mid lane as well. There's no way down. It's a very low mana. He's not going to be able to throw out that much more. Backs away for now. Still, of course, has his egg passive to work with, even if he had gone down there, but summoner advantage for now in mid lane.
Yeah, no way. No mana here. Gonna have to recall and match that TP from Lofty. All good stuff though, pretty much just chilling out. Weren't expecting too much early, except
Matty.
this bot lane.
Now, onto the chompers as well. I think Matty is going to be forced to reset. Don't think he'll quite die, but he's not staying in lane, that's for sure.
That's a toughie right there. Treat's not around to protect him. Lori really punishing Matty. Such an aggressive support. We saw it last game, obviously, on that Poppy. Got a lot of plays around the map. And off to a very aggressive start here as well on the Nautilus. Big stacked wave, but no dive coming through onto the Ashe. We'll just be able to pick this one up. Shouldn't have too many problems here.
Okay, well, last time I was seeing Anivia, I think it must have been when Froggen was still a pro player. He was the only one who was really bringing out Anivia on a regular basis, was always known as the Anivia main. It's not really been part of the pro scene for a long, long time. I might be missing a game here or there, but certainly not something we see too commonly. But of course, there's no way that it's pulling that one out. Always known for having a very different champion pool to everyone out there. I had to remind myself of some of the Anivia abilities. It was Flash Frost and Frostbite at the Q and the E. I was like, I got them the wrong way around. I was like, let me just double check that. And I was,
What's
in
the
fact,
wall
correct.
called?
Crystallize.
Oh, hold on.
Might be needing to use his passive though, because I think he will be being asked to go for a rebirth, but flashes away and the Crystallize comes on down. Throws up a wall of books in this skin. Backs away for a moment or two.
So something that's really good about Anivia into the Nautilus specifically is you can put down your wall and suddenly Nautilus can't hook you. Right?
Yeah, or he hooks himself a little bit so he doesn't want to be. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interaction that if you're quick enough on the fingers and potentially a bit more respectful and anticipatory of where the Nautilus might be, that is a way to play that. As No Way's in trouble, he's certainly going to get egged. No, he's okay.
Surely not. Throws down the Crystallize and a bit of a Flash Frost afterwards, but not too much more. And we're looking for that initial Flash Frost and just missed it. That's one of the other things with the Anivias. You do actually need to reactivate the Q to get the stun, and I've seen a lot of Anivias mistime that one. The best ones tend to pair up the Q reactivation with the E to really get the empowered damage off the E on very short order. Now Q lands a zap, and the basketball goes wide. I know there's some like really deep basketball lore with this skin. I'm not enough of an NBA enjoyer to really know all the deep lore to this one though.
I don't. I've never used this skin in my life, so I'm not even aware what there is to enjoy about it. As far as your basketball lore goes, but I'm up there with you as well. I'm not really a basketball kind of guy. Although, if they made an ice hockey skin, the Jacks...
Were you an ice hockey enjoyer? I should have guessed, really.
I play it, brother. I'm
really?
a hella ice hockey enjoyer.
I'm learning new things about you. I was like, well, what kind of man are you on the hockey pitch? Are you one of the those people who goes around and like throwing little snide insults? Are you like literally looking for violence at every opportunity? A bit like we're seeing in the bot lane, because Xmati has somehow hit level 6 first. And us musing about our personal lives was swiftly interrupted very rudely by NORD's bot lane.
Well, it was a great segue. Violence into Treats Matty. I mean, they've been so good at finding these angles to get the plays. And speaking of a play, Elijah's in trouble now.
He's got no flash.
He doesn't have flash. Yeah, no flash. It should just be going down to Vizicachi.
Root Caller comes on through, and Elijah is swiftly food for said roots. Good fertilizer is Kazande this time around. And Nord find picks on opposite sides of the map.
Yeah, and that is the feat of warfare in favor of Nord. They
need 2 feet. They get 2 feet. You know, they need 2 shoes.
The feat of warfare is the killing feat. So they've got that. They've got the 1 tick there, and now they will need the second one, either the tower or the objective, to finish that one off. Venomcrest already having that first objective should make this number 2 for them if they're able to pick it up, which looks like there probably won't be a contest here. No, we can see Nord just backing off of this one, but a good start here. Good start here for Nord. 3 kills up to 2.
Suffering with it, CS single turret. I saw that, mate. Laurie gonna spot a bother though. Throws up a little bit of a shield briefly, but I don't think the Titan's Wrath is going to be keeping all that safe. Those chompers were not fantastic. And denied no one getting over towards the Nautilus, who swiftly falls down. Leona's the one that picks that one up. But you're still happy enough picking up the kill without burning all that much in the way of resources.
Alki's all by himself. Well, sort of all by himself here. If Treats hits level 6, he might feel... Yeah, he's putting... Anytime you see this kind of vision being put down, you know you're feeling the dive. That's it. But he's not going to get the backup. I don't think he'll go for this one instead. Yeah, quite smartly deciding to back away from that and to spend their earnings, as Matty here should have his item complete. And we see Elijah taking some more damage here. But yeah, the Kraken now from Ash. Very big spike here with that Q. Q plus Kraken. Pretty disgusting stuff here, especially when you ramp up your lethal tempo. Huge amount of DPS now coming through from this Ash.
There's been a few Ash builds over the years. Trinity Force and Blade of the Ruin King was a thing for a while, but Kraken Slayer into Infedge and Hurricane is certainly an option as well, because of course the more you get crit, the more you slow, because Ash doesn't crit like a normal AD carry. She just gets more slow and a bit more raw DPS. It's an interesting little mechanic specific to her. In goes Lofty though, with the Justice Bunch and the Shield of Duran. Treats though. Gets a brush put down on top of him, prevents easy axe, and the teleport is pretty deep. But Chachi will begin to path make his way towards someone and pulls a member back. Laurie goes down, still only level 5. The clone is then attacked afterwards, and the Cyclone doesn't get all that much value. The Storm Warnings were quick enough for Nord to get out of danger.
The real win here will be picking up the grubs for Nord. Importantly so, you have to deny this one if you didn't want Venomcrest to get that feat, the objective feat. Should be free here now for Nord. The question is, when you look on the map, actually, this might not be free at all. I think Venomcrest want to contest this one.
They are going to come on over. Lofty has a hero's entrance. Kiki only at half HP though. Needs to be a bit wary about finding an angle there. It's going to be a shield of Durand. Could look to go on forwards. Where are they looking for more though? Laurie is in, lands a decent dredge line, but is immediately routed by the root caller. And the HP bars from Nord aren't fantastic, but they're still playing this out. Second grub down, staying for the third. Lofty re-engaging potentially off to this other side. Matty, no arrow available, but the Glacial Storm zones people off miles and miles, and they've just grown an entire field out in the middle of the river. They can't see a damn thing. They will steal one of the grubs away, at least, and prevent Nord getting all 3 and an objective marker for themselves. Laurie, that was a little far. Treats will get knocked up, and they will lose 1-for-1 there as both supports go down. Mauki, though, forced to flash away as he stepped back up. Not sure about that one, mate.
I'm not sure about a lot of this, to be honest with you there, Initialize. That seemed like very inty from Laurie, but going 1-for-1, I guess that's fine.
Got away with
at the end of the day, yeah. Importantly, you steal away one of those grubs, right? So that is valuable, right? Like, not just considering, you know, you deny that 1 stack of the feat of strength, but more importantly now, that's the sweet spot here for grubs onto for Nord. Now this replay starts after the initial engage. This is like the second engage from the fight, because this was such a long fight that we had 2 versions of it. At this point, if you're Venomcrest, like, you've stolen the grub and you're just trying to disengage. Laurie going back in is a bit weird, but it trades 1-for-1, so it's okay at the end of the day. But what really sealed the deal for this fight, in my opinion, with Venomcrest was one of the crappiest equalizers I've seen in my life. Hot garbage coming through from the red carpet on Elijah. This was not
Professor
it.
Foxtrot. Elijah, you have to see him after class. That was not it. Yeah, no.
It was a bit of a zoning ult right there. I think it could have deserved a little bit better.
No way. That's a decent crystallize that prevents Malky getting easy access in. The flash, Frost buys a little bit of time, but the passive route comes on down and the rebirth is going to come on in, but I think they're just making omelets in the mid lane. Lofty, though, will be traded out onto as Matty takes that one. Will he be traded back? Will do, because the turret was heated up so much. And Venomcrest pick up 2 just for the 1 as the turret dive bot lane doesn't go quite to plan.
And the Jinx Rocket almost picking up Matty there as well. So Matty did survive. It was no way. It was no way. It was no way he died mid. Yeah. So Matty
sorry,
survived.
I thought Matty died as well. No, I apologise. I'm not quite
sure. The kill report came up right at the time the second tower shot came down.
That's
so,
right.
Yeah,
so I think that's what it was. That's what it was. And the camera panned away.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Malky though was. Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
There's the replay in that one. There you go. Appreciate that. Someone was paying attention at least. Mid lane turret did fall though for Venomcrest, so they do get first turret of the game there in pretty key spot as well against the Anivia, who can normally be a nightmare to break towers against.
Right, and now with the, I feel like a broken record saying the phrase feat of strength, feat of strength. The thing is, it's relevant because at this point now, Venomcrest only need one more objective to secure the feat, right? And for NORD, like objectives are the only thing, that either team can play for to get the feat of strength. And whether or not the feat of strength itself, like it's not like a big thing, it's not like getting Nash or something like that, but it's relevant, and more importantly, it does tend to dictate how teams play. Like they certainly, it is something to now look at to see, okay, these dragons spawning, this herald that will be spawning, we know they will have a higher priority now, and it's something to expect moving forward here because of the feats being available and only being available through neutral objectives.
I know there has been a bit of a discussion as Venomcrest actually find a really good shove in mid lane. The Glacial Storm's just about in range to clear the wave away, but remember, they've got a few grubs here. They'll still do a fair amount of it. Lofty, though, caught on the wrong side of a Crystallize, but I don't think they care. The tier 2 is down. They got a dragon on the other side, but Lofty just as punches forward. Treat's going to step on forward and throw a shield of Daybreak down the Solar Flare. A little bit shy, but I think the damage is already done as Lofty gonna come on down. The redemption keeps Treats nice and healthy. Crystallize prevents the dredge line. You said it was a good angle as the arrow comes flying down mid lane. It's a little shy. Treats goes forward again, but it has no mana and allows for a re-engage with the cycle coming on Treats. That one was a touch for, mate.
The thing is, no X-Matty, no damage with this team comp. Generally speaking, broadly speaking, especially this part of the game.
Yeah, the Anivia's not at 2 items yet. He's got 3 stacks on a Rod of Ages and a stacked tier. That's it. That's not damage on Anivia.
No, exactly. He needs a little bit more time there before he becomes scarier. But even then, won't have a lot of damage into Galio. That fight took so long to fully form, and it's a little bit surprising Galio died in the first place. But yeah, you really need to play around X-Matty here, and he went down bot, pushed the wave, and then recalled, so he wasn't available to make that play happen. It was a dragon going over to NORD, however, and now that this herald is up, as I mentioned, the teams will have a little bit of a higher priority on these neutral objectives. And I like what Venomcrest are doing, recognizing that NORD, you know, they're the ones put in the tough spot here because they're the ones who are against objective point for the feat, and they're playing on the other side of the map.
Trying to clear this out as best they can. The Crystallize was so well placed. No way, clean stuff. Laurie hit with the Flash Frost and a bit of a Frostbite afterwards. Again, throw down into the Glacial Storm, but Laurie is well suited up for inclement weather and backs away, the cold not bothering him too much anyway, and other such frozen puns. Avoid the musical numbers for now.
I mean, that would be an interesting cast if you did it in song.
Full musical? Oh my days. Me and you, mate. How's your harmony?
Awful. Absolutely
even better,
awful.
Even better.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
We finish each other's. Doesn't know. Doesn't know his line.
No.
Okay, you know what? Yeah, my God. I tried.
I'm sorry.
Okay, guys, I tried.
I'm not with it. My mum is a music teacher, but it skipped a generation. Let me tell you that much. That musical gene.
Hang on. We have a fight going on. Treats in danger. Does get knocked up, but the redemption comes on down, buying some space. Santorin is here, but they have gone really deep looking for this fight, and the counter engage is brutal. Jinx picks up a double kill and down 4 kills deep.
And that's it. Jinx getting those kills is very good. Malky wants some more.
Okay, we'll keep getting some orders out. Finally gets rooted down, but the damage is just not there anymore. NORD, you're pulling a Venomcrest from last game. You don't know how many kills?
18 minutes in as well. That's going to be the Herald. So that will be the feat of strength for Venomcrest. And more importantly, to be honest, 4 kills. 4 kills for 0 here for Venomcrest. And now that is a 4, 1, and 4 Jinx. And the thing with the Jinx in this game, when we're looking at the team fights, as this game progresses, she has so much protection with the Galio, so much space being created with the Equalizer, and that front line coming through as well. And it's actually NORD that start this one up, but it's just Xmati and Treats. And when Xmati falls down, which happens very early here, you don't have a hope of winning these team fights. It's all about Xmati in these fights. He is your carry, he is your damage. If you do not have him, you do not have a chance. And NORD, just like Lemmings, one by one, fall to Venomcrest, and now suddenly it is Venomcrest in the driver's seat and with the advantage this
they're
game.
TPing on this as well. No way, does not quite have the ability to get away as yet. Throws up a good crystallize again. These walls have been very astutely placed. You can see No Way has a certain amount of mastery getting around these. That last play as well, Kiki, phenomenal angle onto Xmati when it's timed up with the dredge line as well. Cyclone plus depth charge meant there was no room for Xmati to flash. Got a barrier off and that was it. Even through the redemption, even through the trigger seed, just not enough to keep the Ashe alive, and that's despite starting the game 3-1 and 3. Dropped a kill or two here at this point. Heartsteel completed for Treats though. We're seeing that a lot on sports at the minute and is really, really potent right now. Starts to become a little bit more of a threat of his own right, but Dragon spawning in 30 seconds, and Venomcrest are going to be the ones in control of the river. They are the ones who picked up the feats of strength, as you noted, because they got the Herald as well, and they are feeling pretty damn good right now. Wukong, level 11, 2 items, a legitimate threat in their own right. Elijah, 2-1-1 on this Rumble. Level 13 will be pretty scary themselves, and I think Maoki not going for something like a Hurricane or an Infinity Edge second, I think quite sensibly going for the Phantom Dancer to be able to glide away from people diving for their heads and space out against a lot of people who could be pretty problematic if they get slowed down. Makes a lot of sense to me.
I like it as a lot, and this is the thing as well. From this point on, you know, he knows as well he's gonna have a target on his back. Gonna have to focus up, try and find a way to make that one work. Because Maoki now pushing in on No Way. Oh,
so on to Laurie, who's in a spot of bother, but they'll come crashing on down to try and keep him alive and do so. Treats flashes are out, and everyone stays alive for a moment until Laurie kindly goes down. Vizichachi looking for an angle on in this time. NORD pull the trigger in mid lane and aren't quite punished. They stay alive just about, even if it costs them a summon or two to succeed.
this mid lane tower has really been a thorn in the side of NORD. They've tried so many times to bring this one down unsuccessfully.
Quite have the damage to make it happen until just now. The root lands onto the Wukong. The crystallize well proves very difficult. He goes into the backline to try and bring down Xmati. I appreciate the willingness. I appreciate the forthright attempt. It was enough, and that kill goes the way of Chachi's. 4-1-1 quietly on this Cassante, proving to be a bit of a menace.
And it takes down Maoki and Kiki, two important members for the side of Venomcrest, which should open up an objective too for NORD if they're fast enough to get back on the map, whether that's the Dragon or potentially even the Atakan top side. It seems in this game, whichever team takes the engage is the team that comes out failing. This time around, it was Venomcrest who engaged on it, and Laurie falls down so quick, but they just don't have the damage to return. And with Vizichachi coming back in, if this mid tier 1 wasn't up, this would be an absolute disaster for Venomcrest. But as soon as that mini wave comes through and the dive is on the cards, NORD just do not hesitate. They realize, okay, we'll finish this turret off, we'll go for the dive. It was only that turret keeping Venomcrest alive, and yeah, boom. Easy as you like. Just finishing off the dregs from the Venomcrest team fight.
The Nimbus strike and the crushing blow with the smite, plus a Sundered Sky auto is really scary from Kiki. Nearly took Matty from half HP to dead. Just about got away with it with the barrier. Another tick of damage and he was dead to rights there, which would have been a little bit scary. Has gone towards a Blade of the Rune King second himself, of course, with the Kraken Slayer no longer having things like crit to it. Sometimes we do see our Ashes move away from crit builds and more towards these more on-hit auto-attack focused builds.
Exactly. There's a lot of different things that you can do as well, to be honest, on this Ashe.
Triforce next by the looks of it.
Yeah, it could be a Triforce and Heartburn. It works with the Q as well, as Laurie's in trouble once again.
Fair amount of the Ranger Focus begins to fly on down, but the Cyclone there to buy some time. Actually forces Vizichachi to Pathmaker away. It was onto the clone, I think, actually. And there We'll back away for now. The turnaround beginning to come on through, and it is just a brawl. The front line is monstrous from Vizichachi and the rest of NORD. Without Elijah there was really no way to threaten as many people as they were hoping, and the fights that look so damn even don't anymore as Treats is 1v1ing a Rumble. Heartsteel, please, you need a nerf.
And Atakan, speaking of nerfs, is going to need one too, which is what NORD will pick up here. As a result, the bounty of that team fight win. 4-0 in favor of NORD. It's just shocking stuff, to be honest, considering we just saw 5 minutes ago Venomcrest take up that team fight win. You know, they got the 4-0, and since then they've just been losing the game. It is going to be the Atakan falling down here.
Are we feeling the same? Is this the Matrix? Are we seeing the same Black Cat over and over again? Is it just deja vu? How is it happening 2 games in a row where Venomcrest just go for a fight and NORD say no?
Yeah, well, deja vu, Laurie dying early and a lot. He's the one that gets caught in the beginning here. The engage comes through. You'd think, honestly, a Nautilus is not a great target to engage on, but look at that wall from nowhere. Keeping the bad hombre in this time round. And yeah, easy as you like for Malky to bring that down. Just a you know when you're getting flash walled by an Anivia, things aren't looking too good for you, right? Yeah, it's tough.
It's a bad day. Well, Jinx is put very swiftly on ice and did not enjoy the trip to the Arctic. Tier 2 now under siege. Laurie trying to turn around with the rest of Venomcrest, but Vizichachi will Pathmaker the Nautilus away. The turnaround with the depth charge is decent, but the equalizer not fantastic. Withdrawal on Chachi is the prize they earn, as Matty was shoving in the top lane all the while.
They might just
Does
get this
prevent the
turret.
tier 2 falling.
Yeah, but this is it. Because everyone from Venomcrest is in the mid lane, you might be able to just get this turret, but they have run out of minions, unfortunately for them. It should fall down, though. No equalizer from Elijah.
It's a Blue Peter moment. They prepared one earlier. This only really works in the NLC, because they're the only people who have there'll be enough of the viewership who's seen enough British children's television to get what Blue Peter is.
This is it. I mean, yeah, I don't want to sound... You know what? I'm not going to talk here because we've got a fight coming through. No, we don't. Not in this game.
We don't. Oh my days, Treats right into the base gate, and NORD will execute Laurie with a bit of a flash frost. The E damage at this point in the game stings real nasty. Chachi shoving up in the mid lane. Elijah will clear out the wave at the very least. NORD pull away, having done the damage they were hoping for. That mid lane tier 2 stands, but that's about it as far as silver linings for Venomcrest. And I think it's being downgraded to tin, because it ain't all that shiny at the end of the day, because Baron's going down at the end of it all.
Yeah, Baron should fall very quickly. I don't think Venomcrest are even going to try and contest.
No.
Kiki looks like he's going to float with the steal, but nah, that's it. A free Baron here for NORD. 17 kills to 9. Almost 6,000 gold in the lead as well. And this is it right here. If NORD win this game, they will take the series, move forward here in the upper bracket of our NLC Winter playoffs. Venomcrest, though, if they lose, they're not out. They're not donezo. They'll go down to the lower bracket and continue their task down there. NORD have looked very convincing so far. And from what we've seen of all the teams, I would go so far as to say probably the best team in the NLC not named Los Ratones.
I completely agree, and I think it's very interesting as well that both NORD and Los Ratones have had interesting early games. Like, I think NORD have made proactive plays early, but I think they've also been caught out by one or two. I think about like that attempted bait onto the Wukong gank in the bot lane, which Matty died having got a good kill early on. I think about the fact that Venomcrest were able to get a few kills and stay even early. It's been the mid games for both Los Ratones and NORD that have just been that level better. The arrow comes on down, and Treats was 1v2 and just does not care. He's 2 items deep, he's just got a Heartsteel, and he doesn't care. Moonstone and a Redemption and a Dawn Core on top of the Ivern make sure it's really hard to finish off NORD members, but Venomcrest finally begin to put a bit of a dent in that front line. They kill the Leona, they kill the Cassante, and all the while the Galio actually just about gets out, and the moment we start praising NORD, saying they look like the second best team in the league, they just overstep a touch.
Yeah, overstep a touch, gig it in is something I would alternative
Yeah, okay, I was being
description
a
of that
little bit
play.
more reserved. No, they ran, man. They went Mach 5 into the enemy jungle.
That was a turbo sprint from Treats, mate. I don't know what he was thinking there. I mean, he's
got hot
2v1. Look at the bloody minimap. He's 2v1.
He's 4 levels down on the rumble.
And he's still almost like he's just chilling. It's only
Oh
until they
my
keep
days.
going and then the equalizer comes through that this play turns bad. Like Treats is actually kind of chilling in all of that. But yeah, a little bit too far forward.
First.
A
That's
little
how
bit too
tanky
much.
this Leona is.
Really hideous, really gross stuff.
He's got
but yeah.
200 stacks on Heartsteel. He is a support Leona.
He doesn't care, bro. He does not care. He is tanky. He's got the aftershock. He's got the resistances on the W as well. He's got the
Clips.
shield from the
What an
locket.
ability.
Yeah,
He's got
Here we
3
go again.
enchanter items on this flipping Ivern as well. They don't care. Finally, the turret goes down. They do lose a member that time, but it comes to the trade. This time, the Leona not quite as tanky to the full combined force of Venomcrest, but anyways, damage done. That was the go, but how easy is it going to be stopped? NORD just shoving on forwards. Daisy finally falls, so they lose the 6th member. That feels a little unfair. Be able to shove on forwards to claim this tier 2. Not the tier 2, sorry, the inhibitor. That's the structure I was looking for a little bit further into the game than just tier 2s at this point are NORD Esports.
Yeah, as we've just seen as well for that push, it was perfectly timed for Nords because the Nash had just expired as the inhibitor died. So Norway still had Nash, which to be honest means that you don't actually have to dive if you're Nord, right? You don't have to do that if you're Treats. You have the Baron Bow. But
Nice
yeah,
time,
it
not
lasted
quite
just long enough for them. And yeah, no Jinx Rocket is still the dragon here. That does put NORD and Venomcrest equal now in dragons. No soul point though, crucially. So there's no big panic just yet to try and contest these objectives.
We'll still note that the Venomcrest 4,000 gold behind is significant, but at this point in the game, it's not game ending. There's an Infinity Edge now on this Jinx. Your Rumble is edging on a Flame Horizon versus the Cassandra, who's been more interested in giving up resources to other members on the map, and that's fine. But the Rumble's at 3 items, has got the upgraded Feat of Strength, has got a Shadow Flame on top of that Bloodletter's Curse. Your damage is coming online. The Wukong is not going to fall off that much either. You hold on long enough, and you could start to turn some of this back around despite NORD looking pretty formidable in these grouped up fights.
It was mentioned on the desk before this game as well. This team comp from Venomcrest is very easy to execute, right?
Yeah.
You lay down the red carpet, you jump in with Wukong, which you can then follow up with the Galio as well if you want to. And then Jinx is behind everyone, just throwing out loads of damage, right? And you get the resets and boom, and suddenly it looks kind of scary. So there's certainly a world where that can happen. There's definitely that as a potential. Like we've seen stranger things. We've seen stranger things, especially with these big
There's 4 seasons of
combo
it.
team fights. Yeah, all 4 seasons of it. Thank you for that one. And it has happened before in the NLC. So
Yes,
we'll see if it happens again in
genuinely
this
has.
game.
Foxy's never casting me with again. He's done with the puns. Very understandable, really, at this
Normally
point.
I'm the disappointment in cast, so it's nice for someone else to take
It's just me. I'm just a
the
permanent
crown.
disappointment. I see how it is. Yeah, that's okay.
It's alright. Is that what your parents said to you? Oh, we see your brothers
Oh,
on the
all right.
NLC,
Now we're bringing the
Sam.
family members in. That's a bit personal, man. Come on.
What are you getting on that?
Is this how you get people to start attacking you on the ice hockey pitch, the rink?
Yeah,
Just start whispering in people's ear. Their parents are disappointed in them. My
Definitely
parents
do.
love me very much. Thank you very much. They're great people.
Oh mate, I don't disagree. I'm sure they do.
Was that a there from my fellow caster? Oh my days, I'm in trouble. The clone gets hit with the arrow and there, Matty, you can do better next time. Could turn it onto someone else. See, this is how the cycle of bullying starts. It's already getting unhinged. Look, it's been a lot of tech pauses today. I'm losing it a little bit. We're a little bit shy on the Baron being started, though NORD gonna be the ones in control of the blue side jungle right now as I try and right the ship away from various personal insults.
Well, Venomcrest now know that NORD have the inside track onto the Nash, so they're trying to find a way to get vision to try and potentially contest the play. They don't want NORD to get it for free, This is a close enough game that they should
Aurelius.
the contest. And
Ivan forces the ult out, and that's not a great angle. Lofty got caught, was not expecting the Shrelius to speed up a little bit of something there. And with the approach velocity and all the slows on the Ash, into the flash for the Crystallize! You can't run enough away! Still kept alive is no way. Not going down quite yet as Kiki tries to buy time in the back line, but will not be able to do it for that much longer. Jinx dies as well! Your key member, your quarterback is down! We'll mix our sports metaphors, but NORD find the target and no way. A beautiful flash to ensure there was no way out of the pit.
he's been looking good this game. Those walls have been superb. And 33 minutes on the clock. They had their ups and downs, but it always looked like it was going to be NORD's game. And NORD take the series 2-0. Continue their strong push into the upper bracket.
Venomcrest try, but they run into a brick wall, make it an ice wall. And NORD, the Cryo Phoenix flies significantly higher, 2-0 it is. The mid-late game was just way too much for Venomcrest to sink their fangs into.
Yeah, Venomcrest had some good moments. They had some good moments this series. I don't think they were completely outclassed in all factors today.
Not at all.
But NORD are just actually really bloody good. So, yeah, if I'm Venomcrest, I actually look at that series and I'm like, you know what? We did some pretty cool stuff. Like, this just wasn't terrible. We didn't get stomped or anything like that. Yeah, obviously some things to work on moving down to the lower bracket, but it's still a team to keep your eyes on moving forward here in the playoffs.
It very much will be. And Rich Gang, of course, being round 2 in the lower bracket. That also now means we're going to be seeing the side of Venomcrest head down to the lower bracket as well. I believe they'll be going up against Chaos. That's a very juicy lower bracket run, but that is enough from us. The desk will break it down from here to explain exactly how NORD became our victors today.
Yeah, sort of.
Enough from you, yes! Enough. Enough. And now on to the desk. And why did they win? Because they have treats. They have treats. It's not okay for the Leona to be... It's not okay.
Treats
Yeah,
is
they
going
had
on.
treats, and they also had an Ivern shielding treats. Kind of an unbalanced combo.
Don't say that. We don't say that.
I need to see more Heartsteel Leona. That was fun. He was crazy in this game. Like, he went for Madman engages, survived, walked out with 500 HP. He was like, nah, I'm not done. I'm going back in. I mean, respect. They played 2 brilliant games this series. This was this game was better from Venomcrest, but they aren't really there yet, right? You can definitely see the promise. You can see some good individual outplays as well at times, but this was a rough place to start your playoff journey against such a veteran team and such, one of the favorites for the title. I think they had an okay showing. They certainly showed signs of life, but sadly weren't able to put it together to what you in football would call a full 90-minute performance, right? It was blinks.
He has to. Jamada. It's on the contract. He has to.
Yeah, I have to.
He does. That's fine. I mean, yeah, there's not really much to talk about. I know, like, this is a very kill-heavy game, but I feel like this is a kill-heavy game because of how NORD were kind of just happy to throw their bodies at the plate. Sorry. Treats was happy to throw his body at the plate time and time again. And I will say there were definitely cracks in the armor, very visible,
It is.
quite a few times in this game. And quite a few times in this game, you saw members like Matty stepping a bit too far forward, having to expend the flash, and that makes things like really awkward. Same thing for No Way on occasion, but far less than the Ashe. And I think for sure, if there's one thing that seems a little bit prevalent here, I'm not going to say like a complacency issue just off of like a sample size of a series, right? But if NORD get ahead, it does feel like that maybe there's an air of mild disrespect in their play. A little bit too, like, they don't quite know where the line is, and they're habitually toe-stepping the line, right? And I think they've got to just take a little bit more time than they seem to be doing right now to reassess, where their limits are, where they can stand, where they can't stand, what liberties they can take, because, game 1, there was the stuff with No Way in the mid lane. This game, Matty must have lost his flash at least like 3 times just off of people from Venomcrest walking up, right? And against the Lost Ratones, against, a really on-form Bulldog.
Yeah.
Like, that can be a much bigger issue than what Venomcrest can pose to you. So, us is a very quick, clean 2-0 in the general sense of the series. There's still a lot to take away from NORD that I feel like, positives, yes, but also very easy, like, criteria things to look back at the series and go, yeah, we need to work on.
Yeah.
I agree 100%.
A lot needs to be done, right? I think one of the things, especially for Venomcrest, that was tough this game is they could very easily get caught out, right? If they did misstep, in particular, I noticed the final fight, if we can bring it up as well as we're going through it. You do see Lofty here. He's zoning, but as soon as Matty catches him once with the W, he's dead. Look at the speed up he gets, right? The Ashlow alongside the speed ups in turn gives X Matty. He tries to ult out to safety, but Treat's waiting for him, right, upon arrival, hoping he had a safe flight straight back to the base he goes, and Treats obviously wouldn't stop at that. Now you see Norway flashing forward here to wall them off as well. Like, the balls on that bird are absolutely humongous, as you can see Treats in the front line just manhandling Mauki, sending him packing as well. And yeah, he doesn't care. He simply didn't care on this Leona. And I think that's as well one of the punishing things for Venomcrest, right? Because while they were also tiptoeing the line looking for the engage, if they misstepped once, even when they did everything they could to get out to safety, they were caught already, just on the back of that one Ash W that Matty threw out.
Well, this entirely sums it up, and my question remains as you stated, Jamada, if by any means you make these mistakes towards other teams, punishment will be ensued. And my question is this something that NORD were just having fun with and enjoying the game? And sometimes players are comfortable within the game, not disrespecting, just like, look, we're comfortable, and sometimes we go oopsie.
It could be. It could be, but for me, I think habits are important, right? And I think when you see things happen consistently like this, where it's getting quite on the mid lane, being a little bit lackadaisical on your lackadaisical rather on your rotations, I don't think that's something that changes consistently depending on your opponent, right? I think that is a very, very team by team thing, individual by individual thing, and I'd like the proof will be in the pudding, realistically, from NORD on whether or not this was an issue today, because they don't necessarily see Venomcrest as a serious, competitor to them against, let's say, a Verdant in the next round, or if they manage to beat Verdant, I'm expecting Los Ratones in the upper bracket final, further on down the line, if they play like that, right? So when I say the proof is in the pudding, that's what I mean. We're just gonna have to kind of see, but that was certainly something that there's anything I can pick on, because I feel like this is a very easy to pilot series in NORD. I think it's that, and I think if I'm Verdant, I'm looking at this series that just got played out, and I'm kind of rubbing my hands a little bit in the sense of, man, if they're gonna give us these kind of opportunities, the way that Verdant played tonight, Verdant would pounce on those opportunities and it'll punish significantly.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
I like it. I like it. Actually, why don't we just ask the man, the legend, the myth, the Leona? He's waiting for us on the interview. What is happening with you, man? What is that, Leona?
That was a banger, no? It was a banger. I mean, honestly, the game was kind of chaotic. There were some good moments. There were a lot of bad moments, I would say, as well. But yeah, it was the warm-up series for playoffs.
But there were some bad moments. There's a moment, though, I would like to highlight. I don't know if you're aware. You're Leona, okay? In the jungle. You're level 11. 11, okay, Treats. There's a level 15. And another person on the team, and you're like, nah, I don't care. I see the dots. I hear that clink in my head, and you just go in. You don't care.
I mean, there was a few engages. Honestly, I think some of the engages that didn't work out, we just went a bit too ham, me included, of course. But I love the start of the fights. I mean, basically, our comp works like if we just start the fight and we don't get one shot, then we win. Some fights, unfortunately, we did get one shot, and that's when it kind of went wrong. But we all, understood how to play the comp, but I think we just didn't execute always.
Is this what you were telling me in the pre-game? Like we're just experimenting a few things, just having fun, try harding while having fun.
I mean, it's kind of both, right? Like we are a content team after all, so there has to be some content elements as well. But yeah, we can definitely clean up our gameplay for the next series. I would have to agree.
Treats. Okay, now I'm going for the hard one, because your mother brought something up, and maybe this will resonate with you with all the experience. Habits. Because a few mistakes here and there, and the enemy team is like, oh, you're gonna give this to us. But habits. Even if you want to clean up for the next game, there's the habit of, oopsie. Do you feel like that's gonna bite?
I mean, definitely if we play against kind of better teams, like Verdant played really good today. So I think if we play like this against them, then it wouldn't look as good, I would say. But I also do think that kind of, I think the mentality when you play against teams that you think that you should beat, it kind of also makes the game a bit more chaotic sometimes. Maybe not intentionally, but unintentionally. So I think maybe today was one of those series where me included kind of just felt like we would win regardless of what we did. So I think that didn't bring out the best gameplay in us, so to say.
Okay, two things then. Okay. Versus Verdant. I need a hot take. A hot take.
Ooh, a hot take.
Yeah.
I mean, I think today we didn't punish bot that much. And last time we played them, I unfortunately died in the 2v2, so the hot take would be that we kill them, I guess. Maybe that's seen as a hot take now that we kill them 2v2 in bot lane. So Michigu, you have
So
to
the
watch
bot
out,
lane
brother.
will dominate.
Yeah, it will be a
Okay.
bot lane kingdom. No more inting.
Final thing, I was watching the game. I tried to do this as much as I could because I have to pay attention. But I was going to your stream as well to take a peek
Okay.
on what was
Yeah.
happening, get the point of view. That smile is not leaving your face regardless of where you are. This is really fun for you, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is
Coming
really fun.
back
And
and
I think
playing.
that, yeah, it is really fun to play. I love to play. And like, this is a great opportunity. And it's not something I'm taking for granted, even though we have some content here and there, But it's
Yeah.
definitely something where also, like, even if you're losing or winning, I mean, I'm a person that never get like tilted in the game. I just try to look for the next opportunity. So I think it's just fun to play and also really fun to play with these guys. And everyone on NORD has been really supportive. So it's been a fun experience so far. And obviously, like, making it further in playoffs is kind of what we're looking for. So this was just the start.
Makes sense. Streets, hey, I just gotta say congratulations. And from a fan, like an old fan here, watching you with that smile, it's priceless. Welcome back.
Thank you.
and,
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Congratulations and best of luck. I'll see you soon, mate.
Thank you.
It's that smile, you
Yeah.
know. It all starts with that smile. That damn smile.
Nah, I mean, yeah, what a game, right? As you said, a bit of a content team in there as well, right? A good mix of Roddy and lots of tones over them. Just take a look at that as well. Not much damage still, but take a look at.
What do you mean? He did more damage
Take a
in
look at
Wukong
Trees.
and Galio.
No, I'm not thinking in terms of the
About
fact
that.
that NORD are the winning team. They didn't deal that much damage.
Ah.
But when you look at the individual members, right? Only 5k less than
Yeah.
your mid laner. I'm impressed, Trees. That is a beautiful stat to look into. Even Kazanse with his copy pasta didn't deal that much more damage. I think the main takeaway of this series, but also as a whole, this first round of playoffs is Group A was the group of death, and Group B, man, all farmers. They're all in the losers bracket.
It's true.
He had to say it.
It's true. You can't argue against this kind of result, though, can you? It was relatively
can't.
resounding, you know.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, the only
Not a single
the only
one.
close series was the Bulldog Ruddy one, and even that, you
Even
can
that
argue Ruddy
Group
were
A1.
in control, like so much control that if they played a best of 5, there's worlds where that could have been a 3-0. So yeah.
So riddle me this. Okay, let's look into the bracket. Let's look into the bracket while we're talking about
Sure.
this. There you go. Okay, this is the bracket: Los Ratones versus Bulldogs, Verdant versus NORD. But we're gonna start up with LLS versus DMG, and then Chaos versus Venomcrest. We're talking about Group A being the survivor on the top of the bracket, and now everybody just fighting for their lives. Keep in mind, lower bracket. We just started the league, okay? We just started the split. You lose, you get promoted to viewer. It's not easy, okay? It's not easy. But if everybody on A survived and Los Ratones dominated Group A, scary world we live in, no?
Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is, right? So we're turning into we're looking towards the best of 5s for the next week, man. Tournament life on the line, right? The split
Yes, sir.
hasn't been underway for so long. Light side, I mean, Light side have played a bit more than 4 games due to their tiebreakers, but they played 5-6 games, and they might already be facing elimination. DMG, same tale, right? 6 games. They were lucky enough to get into the upper bracket, get a bit of a spanking from Lots of Tones, and then right down into fighting for their tournament lives. So, yeah, everything on the line for these teams next week. I'm excited to see if we'll have any miracle runs, any upsets, right? These are where the stories really start to write themselves, as if you think back just 1 year, the Ruddy found themselves in the losers bracket from the beginning, made a brilliant run all the way into the finals with just 1% chance of even making it to playoffs, right? I think the NLC is the home of underdogs, the home of upsets, really, and I'm excited to see how it unfolds.
Hey, Jamada, what do you have to say before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same park, man. I'm excited more than anything. I'm actually more excited for the lower bracket matchups.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, I think the fact that we go to best of 5, we keep fearless,
Ooh,
a lot more on the line with the straight up elimination. You know, there's a lot to look forward to for the upper bracket matchups, right? Yes, but to me, this region, since it's had lower brackets, they've always delivered on some crazy storylines. So I am fully here for it. Whether it's a Rich Gang deep run, whether it's a Ruddy Sack, you know, 1% run back.
A DMG comeback, I mean, I'm going to keep the opportunity open. I believe.
Yo, that's awesome, man. They're going to beat Lightside, probably 3-1, and then they're going to lose to Ruddy. Let's just end, like, let's end that one.
Thank you for your optimism, Jamada.
I've got you, bro. Yeah, I'm always there for the lower bracket runs. End of the day.
Just want to say that we just started the winter split, and somehow there's only one throne and only one team will survive from now on. If you lose, you're out on the lower bracket. On the upper bracket, you still have another life, but that's for another day. For today, we are done. Thank you so much for watching. Keep climbing, and you know where we are. We know where we're coming back as well, because without you, it's not fun. It's not the same. So come on over to the Arozzi Northern League of Legends Championship Winter Split, where it's do or die. I'll see you soon. Have a good one.